to seventh generation descendants of Secretariat. I think that's cool. Warren Buffett shocks shareholders by announcing his intention to retire at the end of the year. He shocked an arena full of shareholders Saturday by announcing that he will retire, bringing the curtain down on a 6-decade run leading Berkshire Hathaway that made him the most influential investor in the world. Buffett said he will recommend to the board on Sunday that Vice Chairman Greg Abel should replace him. Trump criticized after posting AI image of himself as Pope. US President Donald Trump has attracted criticism from some Catholics, I think some of everybody, after posting an AI generated image of himself as the Pope. The picture, which was shared by official White House social media accounts, comes as Catholics mourn the death of Pope Francis, who died on 21 April, and prepare to choose the next pontiff. The New York State Catholic Conference accused Trump of mocking the faith. The post comes days after he joked to reporters that he'd like to be the Pope. Now, here's the rest of the story, like Paul Harvey. Trump is not the first president to be accused of making a mockery of the Catholic faith. Former US President Joe Biden caused an outrage a year ago when he made the sign of the cross at a pro abortion access rally in Tampa, Florida. A man whose son was killed by Cincinnati police is now charged in the death of a deputy. A man who struck and killed a county deputy with his car on Friday is the father of a teenager who was shot and killed by a Cincinnati police officer a day earlier. Authorities said the crash appeared to be intentional. The driver of the car, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr., was charged with aggravated murder in the deputy's death. Just a few hours before the crash, Hinton and other family members met at the police chief's office Friday morning and watched a police body camera video showing an officer shooting the teen, said Michael Wright, an attorney hired by the family. So anyway, they saw that body cam footage of the teen getting killed. The dad goes and hits the deputy. So very sad. Don't have a real ID yet. That could cause you travel headaches after May 7th. The deadline to get a real ID is fast approaching. I know we talked about this on and off a couple times just this past week. Um, Real ID is fast approaching after years of postponements and delays. Starting May 7th, your license or identification card will need to be real ID compliant to fly domestically in the US. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there'll be another delay in the deadline this time. A real ID is a federally compliant state issued license or identification card that the DHS says is a more secure form of identification. Besides needing a real ID to fly domestically, you will also need one to access certain federal buildings and facilities. And there is a bit of controversy surrounding the real ID because um, people say they want it for identification and tracking and all that stuff. So that is the end of my Dateline. Sending it back to you guys.
Bow, bow, bow.
That's good.
That's my sound. Thank you, Leah. That was amazing. I tried to give you some sound. That's the best I could do for now. But that was an amazing dateline. As usual, you give me news I didn't know existed. Appreciate you. Stormy McDaniels.
Wow. Okay. Guys, welcome everybody. Chat is moving things along. Leah, amazing deadline or dateline as usual. We've got some things happening on this 3rd of May on Cuatro de Mayo Eve and Cinco de Mayo Eve. Just get ready and buckle up. Mexico's president says she rejected Trump's plan to send U.S. troops across the border. She says no tariffs, no troops. And here's what happens, right? President of Mexico said on Saturday that the U.S. president proposed sending American troops into Mexico to help her administration fight drug trafficking, but she flat out rejected it. Her remarks to supporters in eastern Mexico came in response to a Wall Street Journal article published the day before describing a tense phone call last month in which Trump reportedly pressured her to accept a bigger role for the U.S. military in combating drug cartels in Mexico. He said, "How can we help you fight drug trafficking? I propose that the U.S. military come in and help you." And you know what I said to him? "No, President Trump. Sovereignty is not for sale. Sovereignty is loved and defended." The White House was not available for any other comment. On another front, we had another plane crash. Simi Valley, California. One perished after a small plane crash goes down in California. And welcome to Starbase, Texas. According to NBC News, this is Elon Musk's new home for SpaceX. In Brownsville, Texas, had a brand new city, and the name is Starbase. In a vote Saturday to decide whether to turn part of South Texas into a new city centered around Elon Musk's SpaceX, delivered a victory in the tech billionaire and his rocket company. As expected, the measure passed with broad support, paving the way for newly incorporated city made up of almost exclusively of SpaceX employees and people connected to the company. Now, President Trump, he did share the AI photo as we heard. Now, Wall's coordination with Netanyahu on the Iran strike contributed to his firing, according to this. It was not the signal chat. So now, as we're looking, the Washington Post quotes U.S. officials saying that ousted security advisor pushed policy in direction Trump wasn't comfortable with. So the prime minister denies that they had intensive contact. We got to keep an eye on this. U.S. President Donald Trump was angered by his recently ousted National Security Advisor Mike Waltz' hawkish position on Iran and coordination with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on military options to destroy Tehran's nuclear program, contributing to his dismissal last week, according to the Saturday report. So, on that, we have other stories that we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about Nike asking for relief on tariffs. And chat, back to you.
Okie dokie. Bow, 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 bow. Thank you, Storm. I appreciate both datelines. Y'all are amazing. And listen, we did not have a lot of
Prep time.
prep time for both of these datelines. So we so appreciate it, Danielle, JB, and the rest of the DTN team. We really appreciate those datelines. For today, we appreciate you guys. So, as Storm and Leah have said in their datelines, you guys, today's topic is for a Saturday is going to be a little spicy. Okay? As Storm mentioned, the Mexican president said no thank you. What is it? No gracias. Okay, no bueno. She said, nope, I do not want U.S. troops involvement on their side of the border. She says national sovereignty isn't up for negotiation, even in the name of security. And even though Trump is trying to ramp up his immigration style, and we have these criminals that are going to El Salvador, the Mexican president is like, "Hey, you're taking me a little bit too far too fast." And I mean, kudos to her for that. Um I don't know if, cuz this is different. I don't know if at the border, if we already have some type of military presence right now at the border on our side, and we have border patrol. But once we start sending troops, I don't know what he was thinking, but once you start sending troops on someone else's territory, yes, they have to approve of that, right? But once you start doing that, I don't know. I may have a fear for my country because now there are foreign troops on my land, right? Especially at the border, and that could good signal, right? It could, on one hand, it can show the drug cartels that we are united, but on the other hand, it could also show um Mexican, their people, that they are okay with America constantly overstepping its boundaries. So there's like two ways I see this. It could be either way. And then also, on as far as international borders, right? Nike and about, I think they said 80 other major US footwear companies, they've united, you guys, and they are requesting an exemption. it's given 2008 for me. But anywho, they've requested exemption, citing severe economic repercussions. Okay, and it was led by the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America. So Nike, Adidas, Skechers, for all you mamas and papas out there, Under Armour, those are just a couple. North Face, those are just a couple of companies. Um, Capri Holdings actually owns Michael Kors and Jimmy Choo. So you have everything from athletic shoes, to Jimmy Choo's, which are very narrow, but that's another thing. And so they actually wrote a letter to the White House, and it said that the footwear industry already faces substantial import duties, up to 37.5% or more on items like children's shoes, shoes, and even high-end shoes. And those newly proposed tariffs exacerbate these costs. Now I wonder if the play, or if the concern is solely about profit, right? Are these tariffs cutting into their profit? Are they an actual, because they said in the letter that the tariffs are an actual threat to their businesses. So is it just about pricing? Is it about profit? It could be a myriad of things. But I just find it amazing and kind of ironic that these companies are saying you're taking this too far, too fast. And so that's what I think about these two news topics for the day that we're going to discuss and dive into. And so, again, today's topic is no troops, no tariffs. Mexico and Nike reject Trump's demands. I'll read that again. No troops, no tariffs. Mexico and Nike reject Trump's demands. Not Trump's D, but they may reject his D too. But the floor is open, y'all. Feel free to chime in. I know Danny brought this story, one of these stories to us about Nike. So feel free to chime in, guys. The floor is open. Over to you all.
So let's start with these tariffs, and I'd like to talk about Nike as far as the average cost on what it takes to make a Nike shoe that costs $70 to retail. So the cost of the shoe is about $15, and that price will get a shipping container from China to California. Once the shoe arrives in the U.S., it must be legally imported. In the case of leather, they have an 8.5% FOB, which I think is an extra cost. So if the average cost of Nike is anywhere between $15 to $20 to make, and they're charging 70 to 200, how much? Who can look up how much Nike made last quarter? I'm just curious what their earnings reports are. Because what I'm thinking, chat, is I think this is a profit play. And you know what? When they ask for exemptions, what does that do? Number one, it's a big company. It puts them in the news cycle. People start talking about Nike. And guess what? It's the perfect marketing play. So I'm not so sure they're really desperate to make money and they're like losing all this money based on these proposed tariffs. I think this is a marketing play more for let's get the brand out there, Skechers, Jimmy Choo, let's all jump on the bandwagon. And whatever company is behind all those companies, now everybody's talking about shoes instead of tariffs. I'm curious to see what'll happen. What was the earnings for Nike? Anybody know?
I
I'm
looked
looking it up now. Oh, you found it?
I did. Tell me the question you asked, Storm.
What is the earnings last year in, let's say, 2024 for Nike? What was their
Okay.
profit?
Well, I did the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter fiscal year 2024 was 12.6 billion. That was the revenue, down 2% on a reported basis, but remained flat on a currency neutral basis. Their gross profit for the quarter ending February 28th, 25, so just a couple months ago, was 4.675 billion. That was a 16% decline year over year. Nike's diluted earnings per share for the fourth quarter was 99 cents. The company faced challenges but is taking actions to reposition itself for sustainable, profitable long-term growth.
Yeah, so
Well,
miss me with that. Oh, I need some exemptions because of relief. This is a pure profit driven motive. To make $5 to $15 billion in a quarter, and you're asking for relief, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. They're too established of a brand.
Yes, their market cap is actually $100 billion, and that's why
Jesus.
so many. That's why so many people are saying that what, everybody's got to tighten it up a little bit right now. So Nike might want to think about absorbing some of these tariffs right now.
So they're happen they're like, do you think that they're feeling the squeeze now, or are they anticipating it? Because shouldn't they have inventory, existing inventory?
Then they're not feeling the squeeze, chat. I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing as a company who they're, you know what, the second they start to get their profits dipped into, they start crying wolf. This is a company who is very financially healthy. This is a marketing play for any shoe company that wants to get some airtime in a news cycle. I'm sorry. I mean, if they can't absorb a little bit here and a little bit there, and they're highly profitable, you ever notice when you start getting used to certain luxuries, like let's say you start flying private, you do not want to go back to flying commercial, and they don't want to take any hit whatsoever because they want to grow. And there comes a point where you just downright get greedy. And I'm sorry, Nike was built off of sweatshops. Nike is not made in America. And yet Nike can pay hundreds of millions of dollars to athletes in endorsements, and they're saying they want tariff exemptions. Come on, man, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
I
like if
think
the American people gotta tighten up the belt, why can't they do it? I don't know who
I
that
th-
was chiming
I
in.
think they can, but the thing is, why would any company want to not? I mean, Nike's being smart. They're making a claim for keeping their business successful, for keeping their business profitable. I know it's not in favor of the Americans, but let's be honest. No business is going to want to take on these tariffs because it's going to cut into their money they're making. And I think it's crazy for the American government to think that the business is actually going to take the hit on this. Maybe some of it because they want to keep selling, but I can't imagine many businesses are going to. I mean, I know a lot of the businesses are on hold right now with their imports from China, at least the ones we deal with.
I think it's less about what the businesses want right now and more about what the people think the businesses should get. Because at the end of the day, the people are the consumers.
They
So,
are, and they can stop buying
well,
if they want to.
give me one quick second. I think President Trump is squeezing everybody right now, chat. That was a great word to use because imagine these companies do not want to lose profits. But right now, the American, not, you know what, not even just Americans, people globally, right? Because we're talking about the virality of politics in general. Everybody is going to pay attention where their dollars are going. And so when you sit here and you don't have any of they don't own any factories, they contract with China, right? And so I think it's about time. I'm sorry. They should absorb the cost of the tariff.
They don't contract with China, they contract with Vietnam, just so you know.
I saw that it was not just Vietnam, that they also contract with China and one more, but I don't remember the third one.
60%, I believe, is Vietnam.
You gotta say China.
China.
I don't
China.
want to say China.
Jonathan, like, so what's your view on this, on Nike and these other shoe retailers? What do you think about this whole situation?
I think it was a smart marketing ploy to make the claim. I mean, why not? Be in the news cycle, be talked about, get people interested. They're going to buy more Nike now than while they have the stock of them here before we have to import new ones and the price goes up. It's a great way to get out of their sneakers. I mean, it's the same as my sister just bought a Jeep because she's silly and she didn't want to buy it next year. So Jeep got the sale early because they were saying the prices would go up next month.
Yeah, I mean, like when I automatically got 2008 Fannie Mae or Sally Mae Freddie Mac. Am I saying that right? I automatically got those vibes. Like we need you to bail us out. Like imagine if Americans could request an exemption for paying for the price increases for their goods. Like, I think it's actually varied. I don't marketing, I don't know, because to me, I mean, I'm, PR background, like, I don't think it tells a good story. Like, they're literally saying, like, we don't want to cut into our profits, or we don't want to take the hit, or we don't want to feel the squeeze. We don't want to pass it on to our consumers. But what you're really saying is, hey, American people, we want the government to bail us out while you have to suffer. Because that's not the only industry affected. You will have groceries, cars, home pricing, like all the automotive industry. You have other industries. So do y'all think that this will signal to other industries that they should do the same? And what would that mean economically for us post tariffs?
Well,
But I
here,
think go ahead, Storm.
well, I just wanted to say this, Jonathan. Maybe you can speak to this. 2020, $37 billion in annual revenue for Nike. 2021, 44 billion. 2022, 46 billion. 23, 51 billion. And they fell flat between 23, 24. And I think they're nervous and scared that they're going to fall flat in 25, if not decline. From early reports, it looks like they're on a negative 7.3% revenue shrink. So it's not because of the tariffs, though. It's because of something else. So when you look at a big bloated company that's gotten so big and you think they're untouchable, and they start signing all these different things to like stars, executives, looking at sourcing, looking at finding out where they're going to get their stuff made, how they can cut the bottom line and margin and increase profits. I think they've been in trouble for about 2 years. Jonathan, what's your take?
No, I think I wouldn't say they've been in trouble for 2 years. They have not been strong, I would say, but they're obviously making a profit. But I think that, like I said, this is a marketing ploy to sell out of what they've got right now. And then I'm sure they're hoping that something happens with the tariffs that allows them to actually just keep doing what they're doing. I don't know if it's optimistic, but what they want to do right now is sell out of what the stock they've got in the US. So they want to be top of mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I think with this whole move, these manufacturing or sweatshops are moving manufacturing back to the States. Right? Like, we know that it's going to increase prices. But it is literally telling. I don't know if y'all remember the video I've played a couple of times from the guy from China, and how he talks about how the oligarchs and these big businesses, especially your big box retailers, that they moved so much their production to China so they could increase their profits. I would say they could try to keep pricing moderately low. So my thing is, will the American people absorb this increase in pricing across different industries? Do y'all think Americans actually understand? Because Trump has said it, Elon has said it, but Trump has said it multiple times that these times, right, it's going to be tough for a little bit. Just wait it out. It will be tough. And we're barely out of 100 days. And you have major shoe retailers saying, no, we can't do it. So what does that tell the American people, as far as, like, how does that look optimistic to the American people, when that's why I said I don't think it's a good PR move, because what
Well,
does that signal to the American people?
Chad, I just gotta push back on this though. People are gonna buy Jordans because kids want them, and kids want to be happy. Their parents want their kids to be happy, so they'll go spend $200 or $300 on a pair of shoes they're gonna wear for 3 months. Who cares if somebody puts a $5 tariff on a pair of shoes when it's $200? Do you really think that's gonna stop somebody or slow somebody down from buying Nike if they're really a diehard Nike fan? Absolutely not. So
No, it
why is
doesn't work.
everybody complaining about this? Go ahead.
What about the athletes? Like, I was an athlete. Sorry, this is dance hall. I was an athlete. It's hard. Athletes depend on Nike for their tracksuits, their clothes, their sponsorships. It's at Nike, to a lot of people. It's much more. They do donations to a lot of people who can't afford things. They have a lot of charities. but it's not no $5. People, I told you guys 3 days ago, they're showing receipts on X. People are being charged like $50, $100, $200 extra tariff charges on things that they're paying for, and they're showing their receipts. So it is going to cause hardship to a lot of families that depend on that brand. Certain people's shape of their foot is different, so they like New Balance. People do certain careers that depend on New Balance, like nurses and barbers. So to a lot of people, it's more than just a brand name.
Oops, sorry. Queen, I do agree. Like I was an athlete. I mean, I ran track, I hooped. Um, and Nike has typically a very narrow shoe, and I have narrow feet, so it works. And like this is, I think what you explained is something that could impact across multiple industries. Because I think Storm brought this up. You have these Nike deals, these sponsorship deals. What's going to happen with these athletes? Will because I almost feel like or believe that everyone else will have to feel it before Nike execs feel it.
Exactly.
You know? What do you think about that?
That's what's going to happen. People are showing their shipping costs. So even within the US, if someone wanted to certain products shipped, they're getting charged extra even by FedEx and other courier companies. So not only is the company who you're buying the product from is adding these tariff charges, but even when you're shipping. So think about people in rural areas. They're always the ones that are forgotten. Think about the people who are poor, but they need these shoes. Like, for instance, there's kids who wear size 15. You know, much of my American friends would say whenever there's Adidas warehouse sales or Nike sales in Canada, they want me to look out for these large sizes for their kids because they can't get them in the US. There's a lot of people who are going to feel the brunt of this, period. It's not going to be Nike, it's going to be the consumers.
Well, I got a shipment in from Alibaba just what yesterday. No problem on tariffs there. And they're still honoring the prices and they're still saying exactly how much the shipping will be. I'm not seeing impact on stuff that I'm getting from China. So when I get $4 or $5,000 worth of backpacks, or I get something as far as the things that I order for my productions and my shows, I'm still not seeing an impact. So why would we just do it? I mean, how are they showing receipts on these $40 and $50 extra charges
Go
when
on
the
your best
tariffs are just
Twitter.
now taking effect?
You can see it all over Twitter. That's your guys' home place. It's all over. People are showing their actual receipts.
Wait, who's you guys? I'm not a Twitter fan. Just to be clear,
I thought
Danzel.
that was mega headquarters. Sorry.
Mega
Oh
headquarters.
my
It definitely is
goodness.
MAGA
These
headquarters.
people
That's
are
a fact.
stuck on MAGA. Jeez.
I
What'd you
mean,
say,
come
light
on, man.
skin?
I just
They're
heard you
just so
people
stuck
chat.
on
You
this. They
people
just
on
put
Twitter are mega,
really
whatever it is. Look, here's what
ridiculous.
I'm saying. Look, you can
Go to
go
your
post
blue
stuff.
skies and cry. Jesus.
We've got to figure out what's real and
Like I
what's
really
not.
care.
I don't see a whole lot of people who are looking at receipts going, oh my God, the tariffs caused a $50 increase in this. Why? Because most of the tariffs just took effect last week, and you're not going to see this increase at least for another couple months. They're on inventory, they're on a fixed pricing schedule. You're not seeing these increases on impact yet. So I would just say I think this is all a marketing ploy, as Jonathan said. And I think that, you know what? The more they cry about it, the more attention they get. The more attention they get, the more sales they make. Case
Well,
closed.
Storm, when I brought it up, is before all of this, right? I don't know if you remember chat. It was that drama day that I brought it up that people were showing receipts, right? So that was before the announcement. So these are everyday normal people. They're not fake actors. They had like a whole thread where they were all posting their receipts to show how tariffs affecting them. But I brought this up a few days ago, and these are human beings. They're not made up people. And I don't think that we should ignore that people are going to be suffering or are suffering based on this.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Dancel, because I didn't see the receipts. What are they posting receipts of? Like what kind of products?
Like, so whenever they're about to place their order or their stuff is in their cart, or when they did click it, or when they got a notice from, like, how sometimes when you have to pick up something like, so I don't know if you guys ever been a hostage of FedEx. I've had it in the past where they're like, we won't release your shipment unless you pay this extra price. So they were showing all the receipts. So some people didn't complete their purchase, some people completed a purchase, but then the shipping company added it, or some people showed. But what they're doing is they're actually saying, like, whatever your state taxes is, if you pay taxes in your state, and then there's an actual line called tariff tax. And then it'll be like $100, $200. In one case, somebody bought a $10,000 item, and then they try to say there was going to be a 10,000 extra charge of tariffs plus some other taxes that brought the bill to 25,000. So it's just this new little, and I think it's a scam that they're all putting this extra line called tariff tax.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, Dan Sol. Because look, if I'm on
I
Amazon,
do think it's a scam.
I want to see this. I want to see what this tariff tax looks like because I think it's invisible. And I think, you know what? Companies will take advantage of every way they possibly can. Look at the way that you get taxed on tips. Look at the way that, you know what? When you go, I went to, went to First Watch this morning, got my breakfast, and they wanted a tip. I tipped the waitress, and then they wanted a tip for the restaurant and the person who was checking me out.
Yeah,
And
they're
I'm like,
getting
you
you're
have
right.
got to be crapping me here, people. Look, I
And
don't
these
think this is a
travel
tariff
fees,
issue.
resort fees, and entertainment fees, they are sliding these little taxes in lately. You're right.
We
I've
are
seen it.
getting killed, Dance
Like
Hall, on
20
the
tips.
stupidity of us
True.
falling for it and not pushing back on it. Thank you for
That
me
is a
listening
fact.
on
I
that,
totally agree with you on that.
Well, didn't Kamala during her campaign propose protection from price gouging?
Well, interestingly, Kamala did not want to vote tax on tips, but then she took Trump's idea. And then when they voted on it, none of the Democrats voted in favor of no tax on tips. Explain that one to me, ladies and gentlemen,
Who wants to explain it?
because they can't. Indefensible. That's what I thought. We can
I'm not
move on,
Storm
chat.
called y'all out. Not, I guess so. I guess you won that one because they were
Well, I
silent.
mean,
Storm.
think about it. We see this party that's like, oh, we're in favor of the people. Oh, we want freedom of choice. Oh, we want this. We want that. Okay, great. Why aren't you sticking up for the middle class or the working class that actually works their butt off in restaurants? No tax
Because
on
no
tips.
tax on
That should
tips
have been
hurts
a
them in the
no
long run.
brainer, Jonathan. You
No
agree on
tax
that.
on tips
That
hurts them
should
in
have
the
been
long
a
run
no brainer, but all Democrats unanimously voted against it. Tell me why.
because no tax on tips actually hurts them in the long run. It's not putting any money into any retirement for them. They're not getting paid into Social Security. It's actually going to hurt them, and it also opens up for the person, the actual owner, to keep them at 275 instead of giving them an additional rate, as many places are doing right now.
Make it make sense. A tip is
A
not
t-
taxable. So why would it hurt you?
I
In
just
Canada, here they add on the tip and then they put the taxes on. By the way, can I just pop in to say that Dancehall is telling the truth? I went to X and I searched tariffs receipts, and there's a bunch of them coming up in there. People are showing their receipts.
What? So what are they showing, Auntie?
They
Ouch.
actually show, like when they purchase, and then the amount, and then the amount of receipts. If you just do tariff and receipt, there's so many of them. Tariff receipts, and put in the search bar, and you see a whole string of them coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I brought up Kamala because it's funny that people are doing that because without my dog, without without price gouging, I mean, now we don't have the Consumer Protection Bureau though.
Oh,
We
that's
don't
gone
have
too?
them.
That's gone?
Yeah, I
Oh
think so. I
boy.
think I don't know if it's gone now. I need to look that up, but I know that was one of the proposals or one of the executive orders.
So that explains it. There's no one to oversee this because the way it's listed, it's just like, like a little listing on your bill. But if there's no one to oversee it, no consumer complaints department to really oversee and, fight it, they're going to take advantage of the people.
One of the things that Biden was against was junk fees. You guys are complaining about junk fees.
Miss Rosalind, what's that? Can you explain it to the people?
Junk fees are these random fees that establishments and businesses just add on any old place. Like Ticketmaster will just put an extra fee. It'll just say, when you check out, or just say fee. You're like, fee for what? And you're like, you don't know, fee. you know and when you go to a hotel, when you do any kind of transaction, a business will put a fee. And Biden was against junk fees. That's what he was against. And the Consumer Protection Bureau was the place that consumers could go to when you've been cheated. Trump is against that. Trump has cleaned out that bureau. He wants to close that whole entire agency.
Oh.
Can I say a word to Storm in regards to the no tax and tips?
Of course, Jotham. Thank you for
Great.
that, Rosalind. Miss Rosalind.
You're
So,
welcome.
Mr. Storm, I'm not sure if you understand the no tax and tips, but that was never brought to the floor. I'm not a Democrat. I'm 100% Republican. That was never brought to the floor. Ted Cruz introduced it as a standalone bill. It was never brought to the floor. The vote that they voted on the tax cuts did include some of it, but no specifications on the no tax on tips. So let's make that clear. And I land.
All right. Sorry about that. Maybe Storm is gone. But Jonathan Howard, can you or Jotham, can y'all explain how tax on tips is actually bad?
Yeah, no problem.
Can you
So
explain that? Thank you.
there's a few things that it could lead to. Not saying it's going to lead to, but these are things to take into account. One, lower base wages, because as if they're not being taxed on their tips, they're taking home more money. So the business is going to say, I don't need to increase the wages that they're taking home. So right now it's like 275 or something is the minimum that they have to pay. There could be an argument to lower that or just keep that the same, which obviously 275 isn't doing much. And they're getting tips, so they're making money anyway, supposedly. Um, there's no way to track then the untaxed income. So it's going to hurt if they want to qualify for loans, if they do credit checks, if they want unemployment benefits, all of that, because it's showing now that they have extra cash on these in these tips, which isn't accounted for. Also, there's no tax on tips is going to be great maybe for people at high end jobs like fancy restaurants, luxury hotels, but your nail lady and your lawnmower guy is it's not really going to help. And then because there's less tax revenue, because there's no tax on those tips, they're getting fewer less access to the public programs like healthcare, transit, all the social safety nets, stuff like that. So those are just a few of the reasons that I recall off the top of my head, but I did put sources in the chat.
So let me introduce a something that they have been thinking about in terms of some of the things that can go wrong in this no tax and tips without accountability. Let's use a corporation who can also reduce their salaried employees and then claim that they gave them a tip for doing their work. The 1099 workers, they could also claim that they gave them a large tip for work. So then, if we don't have accountability to these tips, then how are we going to start, continue collecting taxes in these? For instance, a 1099 can say, hey, a 1099 worker can say, hey, we made so much money and we're going to account for it by filing taxes. So one day that we can buy a home by introducing the fact that my AGI is so much based on the money I collected. But if there's no tax on that, I can also claim that I didn't receive it, and there's no accountability to it. So then, at the end of the day, it's bad all the way around, and I land there.
I don't understand why we still couldn't keep track of the tips, but they could still be tax exempt. Like there are other things that do like retirement. If there's a retirement amount, like a military retirement in Pennsylvania at least is not taxable, you still put the amount that you get, but then there's no tax on it. So so it still looks like income whenever I go and fill out an application or whatever, but for they could do the same they could do tips that way as well. In fact, it might actually help them because now what they do because they're taxed on them, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking it's possible that some of them sort of maybe decrease the amount so that they pay less taxes. So if they were exempt and they would, say they got the real amount of tips or whatever, that might help.
Yeah, that's just not how the bill is written. That would absolutely help. I just don't that's not how the bill as it stands is written. And that can be obviously amendments made to that bill. I'm just saying right now as the bill's written, it could cause those problems.
So when you mention the retirement account that doesn't get taxed, I mean that one reason could be that it's using after tax dollars, so the money's already taxed, so then they can't tax it a second time. That could be one reason. So at the end of the day, if you're claiming that okay, these tips are exempt, then that's a large portion of money that the system is losing on. Because as an employer, I can always roll back my roll everybody into 1099 and pay them in taxes, in tips, which to avoid they keep more of their money and I get less tax on my payroll tax, and I land there.
Is anybody in here a server or has been a server? And what is their thought process on that?
Yeah, who asked for no tax on tips? Because
Um,
like during the
I
campaign, it was like a major thing. Go ahead.
um in 1982, I believe that's what it said that they really started to enforce it because I know before I knew servers and stuff and there was no tax on their tips, and of course that's why people prefer cash tips, right? Because then they can just have extra spending money. But it really went into effect. It's been supposedly on the book since 1919, but it went they really started enforcing it. Let me see, what year did they say? 19 1980. Taxing tips began back in 1982 after Congress enacted the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act as a means of generating revenue through a series of tax increases, spending cuts, and other measures. I mean, my thought process on it, and again, I've never been a server, but I did know servers back in the day. But my thought process is anywhere the government can take your money, they're going to grab it. That's what they do.
Yeah, so if they're taxing, if they were taxing tips, then they were taxing income that changed. There, like I could understand maybe capping the tax on the tips, like doing a standardized um cap, because like if I'm making, I mean, I guess it actually looks better, or it's better for the server or the people in that industry because they aren't paying taxes on gratuity. So I can see that. I think though, was it 230? Okay. But I think like my biggest thing though with tax on tips or all of these economic changes is why are we doing all of this right like in freaking 3 months? Why is all of this like shocking the market? It's, to me, it's just haphazard. Why do all like let's say you had a new CEO that took over, you got, your business or your organization that you work for. And the first 3 months they were there, they freaking flipped the tables and just changed everything. Would you feel that your job was secure? Would you feel more secure in their decisions? Oh, that's for the floor. Go
Well,
ahead.
I could offer a little pushback, chat. I'm imagining there's maybe, I don't know, but maybe a few economists, market traders, people, those types, talk to him. And they said, look, the S&P generally has not been doing sustainable growth. This is our average. We're way above average for a while, and the market is due for a correction. So if you want to have a stable market that really grows a lot for the next 4 years, you need to have a correction so that there's an opportunity for people to buy low and hold it with confidence. So, in other words, I think that he probably had some people tell him, look, if you really want to have some growth in the next 4 years, you need to have a dip at the beginning. It's just that you've got to have that correction. If that correction doesn't happen, people are just going to be wondering, when's the shoe going to drop? What piece of news is going to cause everybody to have over exaggerated reactions and sells and stuff. So I think that there could be that element at play. I don't know, maybe.
So break it so I can fix it. That's dumb.
Well, yeah, but from a trader language, it's it's called good support levels. It's called dependable confidence in the market because you have a solid base. Like there's different language for it. But yeah, and really there's like this Wyckoff method. It's existed for a long time, and it's in a way kind of the way these traders do things without talking to each other. There's like this big meta graph that's like, here's your accumulation phase, here's where you buy, here's where you sell. And it's if it's if you're in that, it's like ABCDE, these little, it's like this chart that people do pay attention to charts, and they pay attention to, like, we're due for a correction, and you can't build above average growth on a you know without a solid foundation. And the best solid foundation is having these corrections where, like, things like with COVID, right? It went down to a certain point, but just like with the dot-com bubble, there was a certain point support comes in that, have money on the side and are waiting for a good deal, jump in. And so we've got the dot-com bubble gain to that it wasn't sustainable. So we needed to, and if you look at like a 5-year chart of the S&P, it's like a tiny little correction that looks like it was needed. If you just kind of look at like the graph going up, and yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. But chat, back to tax on tips. Um, actually, hang on. I want to pull something up.
Well, I just got here. So what is the main debate? Is it fair to tax tips or not? Is that the main topic? Didn't Trump um, take away taxes for tips or something?
Yes, ma'am. He talked about that during the election, and then I think he wrote an executive order, but I'm not positive. But Jonathan, we need Jeopardy music while you look up your tax on tips facts.
Right. I was waiting for him to come
Right?
back.
he said how is it related because Chat asked the questions. Chat says why he's doing it for so fast. For in the first 3 months. So that's why people is answering the questions.
Yeah, my whole response was specifically why it would occur in the first 3 months, and that is to create confidence in the market and people that have money in the market for the next 4 years.
I know,
So it
Ali.
was,
I
yeah,
know
it was
you answered the
connected.
Yeah.
questions.
Okay.
No, I think that's a great point, actually, Ali. I think
Yeah,
that's
so it
a
wasn't back
very
to the
great point.
point. I did answer the question, Jonathan. Thank you, Afshin, for that
Thank you.
support.
All right.
Jonathan, are you
I
ready?
get, yeah, I keep getting kicked out every time I go pull up that thing. So, but my thing is, it's not something that's actually being or has been done yet. It is supposedly part of the big beautiful bill. Um, I don't see it in the big beautiful bill, but they're saying it's part of the big beautiful bill. So that's where it's coming. It hasn't happened yet. It is the big beautiful bill is in in both the House and the Senate. That's under in being debated at times. So that's what I have with that. But it isn't being done. Hasn't been done yet, and I don't know if there's an executive order about it. But I know it's supposedly in the big beautiful bill.
Is that the name of Big Beautiful Bill?
That is the name
Yep,
of the
that is the
goddamn bill.
actual name.
He's such a troll, I swear. People, and then, I'm sure we'll get to this at some point. Oh my goodness, my entire circle of life is losing their mind over the Pope photo. Ooh, oof, oof, oof. It's
Did y'all
crazy.
see that Pope photo? Like I'm grabbing a bite to eat, but did y'all see that?
No. What is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Allie, you gotta
Oh,
see it.
Allie.
Trump the Pope.
Allie's gonna. I'm so curious now what you're gonna think about this picture. My mama lost her mind. Lots of people.
My mother's been lost his mind, her mind.
It's in the chat.
Dang, chat, look at that.
Girl, that's a hot mess. That is what is he
he, he looks like he's about to do the electric slide as the Pope.
like he didn't even y'all remember when they asked him what his favorite book was and he said the Bible, and then they asked him what his favorite verse was and he was like, I don't want to get into that.
He's bad, chat.
Now he want to be
You
Pope.
know, Chad. Thank God President Trump become a president, and otherwise, you Democrat didn't have nothing to talk about, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what those Democrats are going to talk about.
But look, that's just it, right? Trump has everyone talking all over the world. And I think
That's
has
right. That's a damn president.
look at our crocodile man over there, so happy for this president. Um, and you know what? I think if it's going to happen, then let it happen at the speed at which he's taking it in. Because, we were talking earlier about the Nike situation and excellent points being brought up. I think that if he can get everyone to renegotiate certain things like jobs back in our country from these companies that you guys know what a market cap of $100 billion is? That's a lot of money. Um, so I say bring it, chat. And I understand like when he goes really far. I mean, people are really angry, and people who are not even religious, you guys, are very angry with his trolling of things that are sacred. But we are in an era where this is what a lot of people are attracted to. It's entertainment for them. And somehow they're separating the businessman from the personal man, from, I guess, at this point, the prophetic. If he wants to be Pope, pass it back to you.
He does not want to be the Pope. He is
It's
a
a power
troll.
move.
He is a troll. He trolls, and that's what he does. If you want to say it's in bad taste to publish a picture like that, I can get behind that. But if you say that that means he wants to be the Pope, I think that is not completely sane.
Leah, I told my
No.
mama, listen, we even love the same troll, the poppy troll that I sometimes put a profile on. I even said, Mommy, I promise you he's trolling. And she hung up on me. So like, listen, man, you gotta give it to him.
Hey,
It
hey, Leah, you goddamn right. You goddamn right. Get behind your president, man. It doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah. But I don't think it's actually he doesn't want to be pope, but he does want to look like he has influence over who becomes the pope. And I think that's more of a play to do, is to continue just like he wanted to have influence over the Canadian election. He wants to be a part of the conversation, so it looks like he's impacting it.
I don't think a Pope suit does that for you.
He's part of the conversation now, isn't he? Every single Catholic is
He's
talking
part of
about him.
every conversation.
But that's why he's doing those things. That's I mean, I'm not going to get say he wants to be pope, but that he's literally doing that just so he can be a part of every conversation.
Yeah, but I'm with Leah. If that was the case, man, I don't think this was the way to go, Jonathan. I don't think it's
He's
gonna
part of
give
the
not
conversation.
with the people that are gonna be making that decision.
Yeah, I'm with
That's not
Jonathan. A
that's not who he
mil-
cares about though. He cares about what the Americans think.
I'm with Jonathan a million percent. The dude wants to be in all the conversations. And I think that like this is partially this trolling theme. I really think it comes from a little bit of envy with Elon and thinking like Elon's a good troll and gets love from the people for that. And he wants to be loved by the people and he wants the attention and he wants to be liked, so much that this is his way of doing it to like make some entertainment, make it, people laugh, try to be likable in this way. Yeah, and I think Elon for a long time has been so obsessed with like getting likes over his trolls. Is I think it really has spread to Trump and Trump. I think Elon has influenced him in that way, or just Elon's situation. And Elon, like, I mean, he's has a huge history of like, for instance, with Dogecoin, like, people trading Dogecoin and then, buying it when Elon tweets something about the Dogecoin meme and the little Doge meme coin dog, and then they immediately sell it and it just stopped working. And then, it's like they're both kind of just obsessed with that troll mentality as a way to get love from the people. I agree, Jonathan. And he doesn't even care totally if it's good or bad. It's just about being in the conversation, I think.
But y'all, we are not the only ones that have a type of respect or reverence for the Pope. No?
Oh, I don't
Well,
think
if
he has
he's
a reverence.
if he's gonna get a third term, he's not worried about the vote of the Catholics. It's probably gonna be state of
But
emergency, some kind of
but
war, nobody
if I
votes.
remember correctly, Kamala didn't show up for an event and MAGA dragged her through the mud for that. This man trolls as the Pope. How is that? Why aren't people pissed off about that? But they were mad at Kamala because she didn't show. And I mean, Trump's administration weaponized that against Kamala. So how was that not okay? And she just didn't show up for an event because she had a scheduling conflict. But you have Trump actually posting him as the Pope.
And the Pope just died too, so it even make it worse.
Chat that you
I
can't be
agree. I agree
serious.
with you, Chad.
That's not a serious question, I know.
Yeah, huh? What you mean, Miss Rosalind?
Because you're not trying to get logical response from MAGA from about Kamala versus how they respond to Trump, because that would be illogical on your part.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm just they have amnesia, so I'm just pointing out the comparisons. Maybe they'll look into it.
Maybe someone can make that make sense. All right. Diana, send out a mass text message. Put it in y'all MAGA group thread.
Man, one of these days we're gonna have a room. We're gonna have a room that has you guys need to explain to us what a MAGA is. What's a MAGA?
Hey, Diana,
They don't
the
even know,
Democrats,
Blind
Diana.
the
followers.
Demo,
Oh,
Don't
Cindy's
the,
in
ask
the,
the
Diana. Don't ask them
building.
dumb
Cindy's
questions.
in the
Sheldon's in the
hey,
building.
building.
hey,
Yeah, somebody
Diana,
had to go to a real radio show.
you,
Hello.
you know,
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
you know, Democrats still don't know how to define woman. So you know, hey, come on.
Ouch.
Not today, Ashton.
Y'all just
Hey,
y'all be
today, tomorrow,
losing.
Not
whatever, man.
today.
MAGA
Today
is
or
a cult
tomorrow, whatever.
follower. If you're Republican, and you're
If you're a
extreme,
Republican, just shoot yourself in the head. Go ahead, Yvonne.
too extreme, you're a MAGA, and a MAGA means a cult follower, and the leader of the cult is Mr. Trump.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're
That's
Oh,
fine with
y'all
definitely
me.
not
gonna
gonna
Chat,
take
have.
That's
that?
Yeah, no,
completely
we're not
fine
gonna
with
have
me.
the cult conversation
chat.
tonight.
They
That's a
call
fact.
all Republicans MAGA. Okay, so let's just
No,
get
they
used to it.
don't,
Yeah, that's
girl.
Yeah,
okay.
they
Nope.
do. Yeah, they
No,
do.
Oh, they do?
They do.
I
No,
did
they
not
call the
know.
moderate ones Democrats.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah, because I've gotten
I'm
called a
sorry.
liberal so
The
much.
Democrats are normal and the Republicans are stupid and crazy.
I
Right,
didn't say
Jonathan?
that.
Oh,
I
I
didn't say
said
that.
No, no, no.
I said
Actually,
it for you,
Democrats
buddy.
and liberals are woke. You know.
To be woke is a good thing. It means that you're awake and your eyes are awake and
No,
you're
that
Yeah,
doesn't
listening to
yeah.
mean
I
what
don't
that.
think
happens to
so.
you.
I don't think so.
No,
You
not
guys actually
anymore.
No.
sleeping. You know.
They have
No.
bastardized the
Will you
word.
guys wake this room up?
You what
Well,
woke
wake it
means.
up then.
Let me tell you
Jesus
what woke
Yeah.
means.
Christ.
Why don't
Woke
you guys
means
tell
that
me
you
what is
give
a?
a shit
Why don't you
about
define
people.
a woman first?
Mariana
That's
has
what
the
woke
answer.
means.
Oh,
That
you
you
want to know
give
what a
a
woman
shit
is? That's
about
easy.
people.
Well, no, no, not you, Cindy. Why don't you
Ashton
ask
keeps trying to
liberals?
take us down a rabbit hole. Can we stay focused?
Not in this group.
Because well, MAGA get it together. He wants us to define what a woman is. That is not what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
because
MAGA,
the majority of you guys don't
take
know how to
y'all
define.
Adderall.
Reel it in, crocodile man. Let's go. We can have the define the woman in the next. I don't know. Is this coming back up? You know what? There was something that yes, one of the states
Oh, you don't know
today,
what a woman is today?
Cindy.
A
We
woman
there
a
are
woman
some
today a
topics.
woman
There
today has a penis. You didn't know that?
Wait
somebody
a
said it.
minute.
And
When?
And
and
then a
Y'all
then a
man
want to talk
woman
today,
about it
bathroom.
I'm
tonight.
sorry, and a man today has a vagina. Now, what else you want to talk about?
Tell
So
them
Dang,
so
I'm
Cindy.
gonna be
according
single
so
forever,
wait,
Cindy.
Guys,
listen,
Dang.
Mariana. So
speak for
according to you guys,
yourself. Speak
is
for
that what
yourself.
woke means? Is
No,
that what
because
woke
women have
means?
bigger balls today than
So
Speak
you
for
what
guys
what
did.
does
yourself.
woke means to
I
you
hear
guys?
you, Mariana. Go ahead, hon.
So what does woke means to you guys? What does it mean to you?
I prefer
Who
the
is you
old
guys?
esoteric definition before the Republicans
No,
hijacked it, using it to.
can somebody answer
It's
what does woke
Yeah,
means to
she's
them?
it's
trying to
being
answer you. Go for it, Allie.
Okay, go ahead, Ali.
so
Oh God, this could be
obviously
so long.
Hmm.
obviously the newer version of woke is the Republicans hijacking the word, which has been around for a long time, and they're using it to say you're too politically sensitive, right? You shouldn't need to be so concerned about being politically incorrect. And it's the woke people that are coming down hard on the people that are politically incorrect. That's the new framework, but it was obviously a word before then, and it meant a lot of things before it meant that. But the Republican Party successfully hijacked the damn word.
I
But I
agree
still
with
don't
you.
know what it
I agree
means.
with you, Ali. And what woke means to me is that you give a shit about human beings. That's what it means.
Or means pushing progressive ideas. You know,
What is progressing ideas?
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna go
Democrats.
with transcend the
Yeah, if
body.
you're gonna throw words up
I
there, you
don't. I
gotta
don't go with
define
all
them.
the damn
You gotta
questions.
define them. If you're gonna throw words, define them. So what is
I just
progressive
give it to you.
ideas?
I just give it to you.
What
Pushing
is
progressive
progressive
idea.
ideas? What is
Democrats.
progressive ideas? Define
Democrats
them.
destroying this country.
No, define progressive ideas.
I just define it for you.
How about
I'm
Democrats
men
a
with
playing in
Democrats.
women's sports? How's
Define
that
them.
one? How's that one?
For me,
Men.
progressive would be knowing that you are more than the body and the mind, and eternal being. That's
Oh
woke.
my God, Shirley.
Yeah, what's
That's
wrong with
that's
that?
on
Cindy, you
action.
do
This
it
is Action's
unconsciously.
fault,
That's how
What's
What's
you
gonna
wrong
Cindy.
with
access
that?
happen
the
There's
when
hearts
they
nothing wrong.
knowing.
hijack
It's
the
nothing
room?
wrong with that. Ali is
I hijacked
correct.
the room. I'm
That's
hijacking.
Cindy. Here's the thing. Cindy,
I'm
you're
hijacking.
woke and you don't even know it. Here's what's happening is
Over
Woo,
you
my
Nicole.
dead body,
Oh boy,
okay?
here we
Let's not even
go.
go there. I'm woke. Yeah,
during
right.
this is what happens. The way you access it, Cindy, is you make choices and you do things and you're like, I don't know how I knew it, but I just know. And you trust yourself enough and you're in your body enough and you're centered and like sovereign enough that
That
you can
doesn't make me
access your
woke.
own heart's knowing.
That
So
makes
you know
me.
shit without knowing. That's
Yeah, that,
woke,
Oh
Cindy.
no,
boy,
that's not
Cindy, is
woke.
their blood
That's called
pressure's going
common
up crazy,
sense.
man.
That's called common
Not
sense. I know
everybody
it's
has
not
it
so
now though,
common
do they?
anymore,
That's because the
especially
other people are
you
sleeping.
people.
Not everyone has common
Hello.
sense.
I'd say it's
That's
knowing you're universal. Individual is just a
Oh my God, you guys complicate
trickery.
everything. Why do you have to complicate everything? Complicate
Because
everything.
you are an eternal being. It
This
is
is
what it
Action's fault.
if it is what it is.
And you saying you
whatever,
guys,
It's
this
Chad.
really
was
simple
Whatever.
mega
You,
Action,
actually.
the one
yeah.
that brought us down here, and I tried to stop us, even Diana. And Action wants to have the conversation about what a freaking woman is and what is woke.
Exactly.
I've explained that
No, I didn't
definition.
say
Move
that.
on.
So this is
I
on
said liberals
Action because
don't.
y'all like to
And
talk,
he
I
thinks
said
that
liberals
regurgitate the
don't know how
same
to
rhetoric.
define woman.
and you think that we are destroying the country? Is that what you're just saying?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so
You
how are
look
we
at your
destroy
past 4 years.
how are we
Look,
destroying the country?
yeah, but look at Afghanistan. How you guys just embarrassed the hell out of us. The
You
people's
guys.
flying
Who
off
is
the
you
air.
guys? Who
The
is you
Democrats.
guys?
All right,
Democrats. Your
Action, before you
Who
ex-president.
is
keep
you
putting your foot
guys?
in your mouth, when he says you guys, it means nothing more than you guys in the room. That's it. So stop
I
taking you
didn't do
guys
that. So stop
and making
saying
your
you
own
guys.
narrative out of the word you guys. You're all guys right now in the room. You guys. What part of that don't you understand?
That
How
was
you know
great
that's what he means,
moderation of your
Cindy?
hot
Oh,
That's
mess.
here we
not what
go,
he meant.
Amy
He's
Amy.
saying you
Act
How do
guys.
you
I
know
didn't.
that's what he means,
Yeah.
You,
Cindy?
because I
That
use you guys every day, all
That's
day,
you.
okay?
How do you know that's how somebody else uses it?
Because I
I'm
know
just
what he means
asking.
by you guys.
How
I
do you
just
know
can't
that?
help it that you're hypersensitive to the word
How do
you
you
guys.
oh,
know that,
You guys,
hypersensitive.
I'm
Cindy?
going to say it five
Action
times.
is
You guys, you
You
guys, you
hypersensitive.
guys, you
guys,
guys.
you
Can I ask
people, you
Ashton a
all. How do you
question?
No,
know?
He's
no, no, no. We don't
angry.
talk you all up north here. We do not say
Angry.
you
Well, we
all.
talking in the South. How
Well,
about
we're
that?
not all from the South, Rochelle.
And
Thank
we're not
God.
all
He's
from the
talking
North.
about
Thank goodness.
Democrats.
Okay, we're from the
He's
North.
talking about woke people.
Ashton, how do you define woke? Ashton,
Don't
what's your
say
definition
you
of
people,
woke?
Ashton. Whatever you say, don't say you people. They get all upset.
I know. I know. I
Tell the
just
good
tell you.
people.
This is what woke is when you all get like
I'm
all
saying,
sensitive in
I
your
just told
feelings
you,
and
you're not
Bingo.
saying anything. I just told you. What is it that you say? What is it that you told?
I was
I just
You're not
told you
no.
guys.
saying anything.
You
You
guys.
agree with me, right? It's the to be woke is to be to over the top, like judgmental of politically incorrect people. Is that how you
that is
define
not
it,
what that means,
Action?
guys. That is not
That
what
is
that
not what it
means.
means at all.
I mean, where are you coming up with these answers? Go back to your Google machines.
Because I've heard Republicans insult
I don't
Democrats
Google.
over being
I
politically
don't Google.
incorrect and saying and using woke. They're so woke, like it's an
Let's
insult.
go back to the original term of awareness of social injustice. I don't know why they have to bastardize it and use it for something
Exactly,
else.
Antiva. There
That's
we
what
go.
it is to me. So whoever wants to use it for anything else, I don't go with the like
Because it's
pejorative
good strategy.
meanings.
It's like the way Hitler hijacked the ancient Indian symbol for peace, right? Using that little
Ay, ay,
swastika.
ay, 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 ay.
She is on one
This
tonight.
is Action's fault.
I don't know whose fault it is, but whoa.
I just told you.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong. Ali is not saying anything wrong. Go ahead,
Thank
Ali.
you. Thank you,
Of
Mariana.
course, the
This is
Italian agrees with you.
this is normal politics to hijack a theme that's used against you. It's like the same reason why, Trump was basically saying Kamala was all the insults said against him. He doesn't want to have it used against him, so he would say she's the thing that he knows is his weakness. It's like a theme. It's
But see, I don't
effective.
see it like that, Ali. And I appreciate the spiritual side of the word woke, right? So for me, I see it. There's a political woke, a spiritual woke, a generational woke. Those are the three wokes that I know the most, and I hope there aren't any more. But if there are, welcome to share. So from the political perspective, I think Republicans use that term because of the intensity of the social matters that are brought into government, right? Then you've got the spiritual woke that, you know, understands that these social matters exists on a global level, yet bringing them into a political arena can sometimes be looked upon as a choice. And then from the generational woke, I see it just because of the digital age, right? So I don't even see the word really as a negative, more so than just like a container that people put other people in to describe something that, at the end of the day, I think has to do with eras. So I'll leave it there. But I know it triggers a lot of people. And again, we talk about like the dynamics of our political climate, right? Cindy, we were talking earlier about the situation with no troops, no tariffs, what Mexico's doing, what Nike's doing. Um, it, it's something that I think deserves to be looked at from a business economic perspective.
Yeah, look
And
what
we
happened to
spend
Nike when they went so woke, right? Look what happened to their stock. Yeah. Okay. I rest my case.
Y'all are making woke so difficult.
When was
It's
the
it's
first time
funny
you
to
all
me.
heard that term?
Please, chat. Please, let's school them, please.
Nobody has raised any case here,
and I just
by
try
the
to take us
way.
back to the damn title. Keep talking about woke then.
What well, I mean she did, but you're right. Um but real talk, we that word has been used way before it has been bastardized. I'm gonna leave that there. But Diana, to your point, Cindy, did you
Absolutely.
know that Nike and like other major shoe retailers wrote a letter to Trump requesting exemption from the tariffs?
Yeah, they're all going to do that. And
So what do you think about it?
it's all going to get walked back. Just sit back and watch and cue the circus music. You guys always jump on things. Let's see what actually happens. And by the way, did any of you read the real letter?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure.
But that's why I'm asking you your vantage point
I
because
don't
we all
care.
don't have the same vantage point that you do. So I'm just curious.
Fine. Then don't go buy Nike. Go buy Adidas. Anyways, Adidas is gaining traction over Nike right now. So now what? Now what?
Sorry, I'm eating. Diana,
Yep.
Why are you leaning on Diana?
oh, because I'm eating. Can you hold it
Well,
down for
I'm
like five
eating
minutes?
too. What are you eating? I'm eating
Yeah, listen, you
fruit.
know what I was putting in the chat, Cindy? I said,
Crab
I mean,
legs.
crab leg sounds good, but I'm a vegetarian. We can go back to talking about woke and gender because I think we're going to be speaking about that forever. It is a topic that has been in existence forever. So it always makes for good debate. Or we can talk about the topic that we're talking about here because Cindy,
Because this
it's
country is getting too soft. Way
That's
too
right.
soft. Okay? You want to talk about something? Girls want men, real men. They're tired of the soy boy, and they want real men again. That's what young girls want today. What young guys want, I don't know. But I can only speak for the girls.
It's called the pussification of America. And it
Oh
started when
Bingo.
no.
NSYNC and Backstreet Boys
Bingo.
came out.
Hey, I'm confused.
What?
What do you guys mean by
Shocker.
getting too soft?
What do you
Shocker.
mean? What
Um,
do we mean?
I really want Jonathan's input. Jonathan, how do you feel about this?
I'm
Ooh,
not
that's
getting involved in this
calling him
conversation today. I
soft.
really. Oh, fuck off, Barth.
I mean,
Oh, that.
seriously.
Uh,
Hey, Jonathan,
Bob.
I'll use you an example if you want
Here
me
we
to. Do you know
go.
how to change
Typical
your own tire?
Democrats.
If you
Oh
got a
God, yeah.
flat, do you
What?
change a tire?
Yes.
How do you tighten it when you go? Do you go in a circle? How do you do it?
No,
Oh
you
my
That's
Kind
guys
of
very
are
God.
like
interesting.
saying it,
lug
That's
but
very
nuts.
why do I
Don't
have
interesting.
put
to?
Let me
Jonathan
Like
in
say
a
that.
class
When
seriously,
you
today.
tighten
This
your
is
lug nuts, how do
crazy.
one
you tighten
next
them?
like
Bart, That's
This
very
is the test to
disrespectful.
know if you
Diagonally
can change
across,
your
but
own
I'm not.
tire. It's a
Yes,
simple
I can change
answer.
my own tire. I
It's
wouldn't
a
trust it
simple
being on
answer.
my car
When
very
you
long, but I
tighten the
can
lug
change my own
nuts,
tire.
how do you do it? I think you're lying. It's a simple answer. Everybody knows this. When you tighten
He
the
Yeah.
lug nuts,
already
how do you do it?
Well,
answered
first you
about the
jack it up and then you,
bolts.
yes, jack it up, take the lug nuts off,
Make sure
remove
you
the,
loosen the
Hold
lug
on.
nuts before you
Hang
yeah,
jack it
on.
up, or you're
I
gonna
want to
have a
have this
bad time.
slow conversation
yes. Oh
with
my God.
Jonathan.
Okay.
I don't
I'm not
think you know how to
changing.
change your tire.
I
So I'm going
do.
to
I've
ask you the
had to
one
do
thing
it.
you should
I
be able to,
don't
if you
want to
quit
do it.
talking, I'll be able to tell you.
Oh my God.
This is common sense.
And
When
a
you
stupid
tighten your
question, Bart.
tire, how do you tighten it? How do you tighten the lug nuts? What order? You don't know how to change a fucking tire.
Diagonally across.
That
I
is the
know I
You
don't do
know,
it.
pussification of
I know I
America,
don't
ladies
do it
and
all on the
gentlemen.
same one.
What's the
Wait,
point,
He
what
honey?
said
the
that
hell are
What's
you
But
minutes
what's the
really,
ago.
asking?
point?
Because
It's
he's
I
only
lying. He
change
doesn't
a
for.
know how to
fifth
change a tire.
tire. Who cares? Who
That's
cares
the
how
well,
you change a
Well, it's
pussification
fifth
of
kind of
tire?
America.
important. You should learn how to literally
I
know how to
know.
change your own
Oh my
tire.
God,
Oh,
my
Oh,
tire.
Cindy's
If I
back
have a
in
God.
flat
this.
tire, I can put on my spare. It's okay. And
Right.
if can't, guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. I'll call AAA.
That is the pussification of
Okay,
America.
so wait, so
Okay,
are we
I can
saying
change
that?
my tire, but
Oh
I
my
don't.
I don't
god.
think you can. If you did, it'd probably fall off.
Fucking Christ,
But
it
but
You
might,
this
said you
is
don't have to.
hold
but
on a
You
that
said
doesn't
you
second.
don't
This
have
is
matter.
to
what I'm
explain
talking
yourself.
about. Ashton brought up
Stupid.
woke and women with penises. Bart is
No,
bringing
no,
up
no. I said
changing
that.
tire.
I
Okay,
said that.
Cindy
Get it
did.
straight. I
Then
said
Bart
that.
is bringing up changing tires.
Get it right, Chad. Get it right.
Heard those
Is this
cats.
deflection? Because they
Yes.
have nothing
absolutely.
to stand
It
Hold
is
on,
on. I
nothing
want to
positive
deflection.
understand.
They're
that Trump has
That's
all
the
done.
reality.
Is
Absolutely.
this
Deflection.
deflection? It
yeah,
sounds
they're
Deflecting
it's
all
their
giving
asleep,
focus on.
chat.
deflection,
This is
huh?
your
Right.
chat.
Deflecting
They're
to
all
herd the
asleep.
cats.
They're
Deflecting
bringing
because
this up
this is
because
what they focus on, and the stupid stuff that they deflect. That's what they.
All right.
That's what they
Mariana, here
do.
you
Let's
go.
try
we
something
could
here.
Mariana,
talk
here you
about
go.
this
They are
shit
not
if
woke. They're all asleep. They're all asleep.
Exactly.
Let's
Who's
try
see,
asleep?
this is the
something.
kind of
I would
stuff
Thank
like
we
to
you.
can
have
talk.
a conversation with one person, if possible. Chad, it can be you. What are you
Conver-
saying? That's all. I want to understand. That is all we have to stand on. What do you mean? And maybe I heard it wrong.
We're supposed to be
She's
talking about the
goofy.
tariffs.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We're supposed to
Oh,
be
well,
talking
fine.
about Nike rejects Trump,
All right. What do you got to say
and they
about it,
want to talk
Rosalind?
about they want to talk about this stuff because they can't talk about Trump. We would love to be able to talk about changing a tire, but Trump
Oh,
is fucking president. We
okay.
can't talk about woke and that shit because we're Trump is president. So we can't talk about fun stuff like what is a woman because Trump is president and because
Well,
we have tariffs. So we have to
can you talk
worry
about?
about our stupid ass president. We would love to just talk about stupid
We'll
social
talk about it.
issues.
Yeah. What is the stupid ass president doing? You want to have a conversation about Trump? I'm your Huckleberry.
Okay,
The
Bart.
the
That's not
stu
funny.
we have a liar and a
Pretty
fool
funny.
for president. So we have to worry about prices going up and about shelves going empty. We have to
All right, can we
worry
do this
about
one point at a time?
When are we going to end up in the soup line and bread line then?
Right.
I,
It'll
I
bring us
would like
together,
to.
Cindy.
They
Everybody
don't want to
get in the
talk about it. They're
soup
No,
line.
deflecting again.
Where's deflecting?
I,
It
Where?
doesn't
Deflect.
affect it.
I'm
Then why don't you
literally
talk
Absolutely,
trying to
food
about
have a
it?
prices have gone
conversation with
down.
this
Go
young
ahead.
lady.
Guys,
Okay.
oh my
how do
god.
I fucking know? I'm a goddamn citizen sitting in New York City. I don't know. All I know is that China is not talking, and Trump, our lying president, says, "Oh yeah, everybody's going to come and talk to me." I'm just a citizen sitting in New York. How do I know when the shelves are going to go empty? But I have to worry about it. I have to
No,
tell
you
my
don't. You
husband,
can't worry
"Yes,
about
I
something
do."
that's not going to happen. Your shelves
Yeah,
aren't going to go empty. Come on. That's never going to happen.
they said
Never.
We
they
shouldn't
said
be
U.S.
telling
Who's
her how
they?
citizens
to
wouldn't
Who's
be
feel.
they?
deported.
Who's
She
they?
has the right to feel whatever she wants to feel and to
Oh, I don't
whatever she
need you to
wants to
have her
say.
back. She has her own mouth. She can talk.
Well,
Your shelves aren't going
They
empty. You
they
guys get
also said
so, you
they also
exaggerate
said that what about
everything.
that lady that got her door that got all her shit taken out of her house? What about
Which
that
one, which
American
one lady is
citizen?
this?
The
Is that the
lady in
whole country
Oklahoma.
or one lady?
The lady in Oklahoma who got her door kicked in by ICE, who's an American citizen who got all the shit taken out of her house and all her money
money taken, who's an American citizen, who got left with her standing in her underwear with her two daughters. What
Mm-hmm.
about her?
And there's no other
She had a
story
shitty
behind
day.
that,
I don't know
right?
what to tell you.
They just came in on an American citizen and took her down to her underwear, right? But there's no other backstory
And
to
they
it.
stole all
Um,
the money. Don't forget that
Yeah,
part.
there's no other backstory to that shit. They were
give me
in
a
the
break.
wrong house.
Give me a break.
They
And
were in
they
the
didn't
wrong
say
house,
it. Shit just
Cindy.
happened.
They were in the wrong house.
And she'll get a settlement out of it, I'm sure. Good
Nope,
for
the
her.
first
Yeah,
time in the
but
wrong house,
all
they were
this
getting
is
that money.
happening a lot.
Guess what? What do you mean it's happening a
There
lot?
will be
Give
mistakes
They're
hold
made.
on.
deporting the wrong people.
Hold on.
They're sending
You
people out.
let's
Come
They're
say
on.
you
deporting
just
the
said
wrong
this is
fucking
happening. Hold
people.
on, hold
They
on, hold
got
on,
people
please.
sitting in they got the wrong people
Right.
sitting in El Salvador right now.
Who? You talking about the MS-13 guy that likes to beat his wife and she's too scared to tell the truth, but the court dockets say that it's true?
Maryland dad.
Oh, did I say it wrong?
Maryland dead.
Maryland dad.
The Maryland shit
The guy who
bag
didn't
dad.
even have the
Right,
evidence
Leah?
on.
I'm dyslexic. What state did I say?
It was
Maine?
Maryland. You're right. It's Maryland.
You
But what did I
definitely
say?
dyslexic.
But that's what you guys do. You talk about the one-offs.
But
I
they're
know.
they're
And it
not
wasn't.
one-offs
It
when
One-off
there's
is
wasn't.
one
It's
too
multiple
not the
people.
many.
queen.
And
One
that
It's
is
there's
one
not
always
too
simply
more
the
to the
many.
queen.
story.
All right,
Why
guys,
don't you
one at
talk
a
about the
time, please.
masses? The masses of what's going on,
When
not
we
the
tried
one-off.
to, y'all talked about the transgenders and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like this is the hypocrisy.
Hold
This
on.
is the hypocrisy of it all. Did y'all not hear action? Did we not have a
But we've moved
conversation
on. I
about
was asking
changing?
Rosalind.
Did
Hey,
we not
Chad,
have a conversation
why
about
is it always
changing?
my name? You're my name all the time, you know?
Because you
I just say
started this
something.
mess. We
No, I
were on
didn't.
topic
No, I
there,
didn't.
brother. And then
No,
you
I
brought
didn't.
up
No, I
what did you
didn't.
bring up? Yeah, you
I
did.
just
Changing
asked the
tires. He
You
question.
started
brought
talking
up
about changing
woke.
tires.
And then Barth brought up changing
No,
tires.
he
But
brought
we
up
literally moved
define a
on, and I was
woman.
trying to talk to Rosalind.
Yeah,
And
define a woman.
I
And
didn't
then
ask
Bart
her to
brought up
define a
changing
woman.
tires. Like you want to talk about deflection, you want to talk about not
Chat,
having a conversation about what matters. That's what Barth did. That's what Ashton did, and that's what Cindy did.
chat. You literally interrupted a conversation that was completely off that.
I interrupted. It was
I was
15 people
talking to
talking before I
Rosalind.
said something. But go ahead, guys. Y'all got it.
Well, you like we're not talking about the topic, and we were literally talking off about the topic. And you brought back
Yeah,
when
but the other
Ashton.
18 people that hopped in before I did weren't either. But go ahead, honey.
Okay, now I'm lost as shit. Rosalind, what were you saying? You were
I
saying,
told you what my concerns were. I'm concerned about you're saying it doesn't matter about the one off. It does matter about the one off.
all right,
If one person is mistreated by the United States government, that's a
I
problem.
agree.
If American citizens are being mistreated, that's a problem.
I
If
agree.
if I'm concerned, I'm a fucking American. If I'm concerned because our president is nuts and has put tariffs on, and now we all have to worry because he's lying. He's not negotiating with China and he's lying. So we have to worry about stocking up on our medications. I have to tell my husband, "Hey, go get as much medication as you can because you might not be able to get it in next month." That's a concern.
Yeah, y'all living in fear.
How
Hell yeah.
this is Dr. Jen. This is my first night back on. Hi,
Welcome
You were
back,
here last
Dr.
night
Jen.
talking
She was
bullshit.
hi,
on she
yeah,
was on
whatever.
CH last night. Welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be back. Rosalind, I'm in alignment with you. I have a mother that has diabetes, and with
I
everything that's
love
going on,
how I was having a conversation with her, waiting on her to finish her point, instead
That
of
is
just
my point. I'm living in fear. If
and
my
I
husband
understand
can't
it.
get his medication, that's a problem.
go ahead, Dr. Jen.
Yeah, Bart. No, I was just agreeing with her. I understand where she's coming from. I mean, it's a fact.
So, what medications is your husband getting? You named China that are coming from China that you're so worried about.
Medications come from China. Whatever your name is, Bart Scott.
So, which ones are you stocking up on? You sent him
Whatever.
to the
None of
store
your
to stock
business.
up. What's he
None of
Yeah,
your
stocking up
damn
on?
she
business.
does. She's not gonna tell you that.
She's not gonna. Is it over the counter?
It's not over
Here,
the counter.
Barth.
I don't
My
know
heart
his
medication comes
medications
from
by
China.
heart.
All right.
I
My
don't
Well,
know
heart
his.
medication
That
comes from
is
China.
no. It doesn't.
It comes
Does
from
It
not.
does.
China,
Does
that's
Cindy.
not.
the
China.
knockoff.
Does
It
not.
does.
China.
Does not. Are you
China.
taking it? Hold on. Are you taking a statin? No, that does not come from China. Well, which
I-
one?
I'm
Your
I'm
sugar
not taking a
medication?
statin.
Are you taking Ozempic for your sugars to bring your sugar back? You got pills
No,
that
because I
How
don't
are
yeah.
you
have.
gonna tell somebody where their medication come from, Cindy?
Because I know what
Would
medications are
Would you
from.
like for me
Okay.
to go get my bottle and
So
show
forget
you
what
that
he
it's
What?
made
said.
in
Tell
Stop
me
China?
what
taking the
medication you're
medication.
I
taking.
am not telling you what medication I'm on. I'm
Oh,
telling you that my heart medication is from China. I
oh,
don't have to tell you what medication I'm
well,
on because that's none of
I
your
gotta
damn
start
business.
taking. I gotta start taking one tomorrow
Jonathan, the
called
bottle's made in China,
Apathy,
not the
and it's not
Not the
made in
medication.
bottle.
China. Because if it was, I wouldn't take it.
Cindy, you a thug.
I don't care, Angry Bird. I
The
gotta go on
bottle's made in China. That made me laugh.
You're
Apathy
welcome,
or
Storm.
Leah.
something.
Fucking
It's the
bottle is made in
bottle, y'all. It's
China.
the bottle, so
Bottles
No,
he
it's
made
does
in
on
not
the
like
label
China.
it.
of the
Y'all
medication.
are freaking
You
hilarious.
would be amazed at the amount of
Jonathan
medication
doesn't
that's
like
made
it,
in
and
the
that's
United
his
States
right.
of America. The
Damn it.
bottles are made in China, people.
Well, if he wants to be
Well,
mad
well,
about it,
well.
he can be mad
Listen,
about it. By
you guys
God.
listen to this. Right now, I'm at the pharmacy. I'm looking at the heart medication. It says made
You're
in
at the farm. What
USA
time is it where you are, Ashton? Where are you at the pharmacy?
because I'm working at the pharmacy. You know.
Boom.
So, yep.
In Florida?
Busted.
What
Chicago
pharmacy
In
open
office.
at
Florida,
Guess
it's
10
not
o'clock?
open at
what?
11 o'clock at
Why?
night.
My pharmacy's still
He
open
works at a
too.
24-hour
Oh my
pharmacy. Let's go,
24-hour
gosh.
Ashton.
pharmacy. What y'all talking about?
Pharmacy. Oh,
He
you're in
shows proof.
Texas,
He's got
Ashton, or you in
receipts.
Florida?
Did you see,
Are
Jonathan?
you in
Did you
You in
see?
Texas?
Florida?
Yes, I'm
Afshin, be
Florida.
nice. It's an
Oh, okay.
be calm. Be calm.
I'm just
Right,
I'm just
Leah.
asking him because
Be calm is crazy.
Right,
I go
Leah.
to the city if I want a
I love
24-hour
her.
pharmacy.
Metformin is for sugar.
Ashton.
Ashton,
I'm
give
looking at it.
everybody
Made in
some
the
Xanax.
Ashton.
USA. Made in the USA. Statins are made in the USA for heart.
Annex is made in China.
Oh my
Ashton.
God.
Well, everybody needs it. We need it in
Are we
here
I'm just
saying
tonight.
we
kidding. It's made in the
prefer for all
U.S.
of our medications to
Oh,
continue
I
to
don't
be
know.
made in
Shit.
China? Is that we're like saying, oh no, let's keep
No,
buying our medication from China? Like,
no,
Lisa,
I'd
is our
rather it be
water
made
made in
here.
Uh-oh,
China?
Lisa, wake it up. Hold on, she got a point.
I mean, God bless us for trying to change it. Shit,
I'm not
that's a
blaming you
problem.
for trying to change it. I'm just
Thank
saying
you,
right
Lisa.
now I got to get the medicine from China, so I don't want to have a problem with that because it kind of keeps me going.
I just looked at it. It says
And
made
that's
in
the
Alive.
problem.
USA.
Afshin, do you feel as though there's going to be a shortage? I mean, since you're working that, you
No,
might be able to
no,
inform.
there is no shortage at all. We have all the medication stock right here piled up. So I don't know what you guys talking about.
That's right. I hate it when they
So
argue.
why was there a shortage of Adderall last year?
Because it was
No, it's not.
overprescribed, chat.
Oh, for
For
shit's
real?
sake.
Hell
Yes.
yes.
I didn't know that.
Jinx. Yes.
Because
Very much
everybody
so.
thinks meditation is a disease when it
My
teaches you to
God.
concentrate.
Go
They're now,
meditation.
I'll tell you why, they are now using Adderall to help meth addicts get off of meth. So it's being overly or more prescribed. Yes.
No,
Wow, that's wild.
let me tell you this. Okay, let me tell you this. This is my personal experience. A lot of students they're using Adderall because they're taking a lot of freaking tests. So the Adderalls make them focus, so they can study. So
Well, that,
a lot of these kids, they're using their mom prescriptions to pick up Adderall. I see it before. I'm not freaking lying to you guys, man. This is
that's
crazy,
been a thing. Yeah, that's
So
been a thing, but they're also prescribing it to help meth addicts get off of meth. But you're right, Afshin. That's very true.
So, Afshin, do you feel like a lot of this is fear mongering?
that's absolutely right. What I'm seeing right here in Florida, man, I'm working right here. I just showed it to you guys. I don't know what you guys talking about.
Well, are you at the VA or are you at a private pharmacy?
No, it's just a regular pharmacy. It's not private. It's a long-term pharmacy. It's a closed-door pharmacy. We're helping all the nursing homes in the state of Florida. So we're sending medication all the time. And there's nothing wrong with any medications. Maybe we're out today, we'll order it, and tomorrow's like 20 bottles, 30 bottles come through. So there's no shortage.
I need to look some things up.
If you
Um,
type into Chat GPT what medications come from China, look what you see.
Now there was a shortage because the trucks. Y'all all know that during COVID. Um, yeah, but I don't think there is now. There shouldn't be.
We shouldn't even have to fucking talk about this if it wasn't for goddamn Trump.
China supplies a significant portion of the medication used in the United States,
including antibiotics, vitamin C, ibuprofen, and hydrocortisone, as well as active pharmaceutical ingredients used in many drugs. Sorry. Specifically, a Council on Foreign Relations report notes that China is a major supplier of APIs, with about 80% of the APIs used in U.S. drugs come from China. Additionally, the Atlantic Council highlights that China has considerable market share in areas like fever reducers, laxatives, antibiotics, cardiovascular medicines, and cancer treatments. Uh-huh.
Thug, what you got to say, Thug?
Hey,
I'm on a
Chad.
blood thinner
Okay,
twice a day because of the
which blood
vaccine,
pressure?
and it's made in the USA.
Which blood pressure medicine I need to check? Hold on. This is terrible.
Better use the Google machine. I'm not going
Right?
into specifics because I don't want to tell someone something and it's
That's why.
wrong.
That's
So I'm
why,
speaking
Chad.
generally.
So,
Learn
Chad,
something new every day.
you
Sorry,
said
Ashley.
right. Yeah, you said right now there's a lot like a blood pressure medication, hydrocortisone, and I went ahead and just pick up the box. And guess what it says? It says made in India. Oops. I'm
Yes, it
sorry.
is China. Yeah, but is it
Yeah.
America? Is India code for America or something?
There is American built companies too, and there's also sometimes some of the medication from India. So I just picked up. There's two different
But why
hydrocortisone. I
can't
just
you
looked
say that there are drugs that come from China? You
because
know that that's a
I
fact.
because Chad, I just picked like almost like 10 different medication. I look at behind it. I didn't even see one single medications come from China.
But it
I even
depends on the
see
manufacturing
Uh,
company because your
but that
pharmacy may just use from India.
Well, maybe we need to
I
start
mean,
finding
order. My
pharmacies
bad.
who have made in America or wherever medications. Maybe we need to work on that a little bit too.
Maybe we
I,
need to work on
I
getting people off
agree.
medication.
That's
Hey,
a
how's
fact,
that?
Stormy.
My
Yeah,
God.
address the
What the hell?
roots of the
Jonathan, I
issue.
want to ask you a serious question, my man. You are not you are not old. You're very young. What the heck are you doing on heart medication? That
I,
scares me.
I had heart failure at 40.
Okay, so is it too much
I
DTN?
had a
Because
heart
how does
attack at
DTN do for
42.
your blood pressure? Because we
Um,
got to be
it
freaking you out and boiling your blood
they
pressure.
have
Y'all freak me out.
absolutely
I'm on
Listen,
heart
I brought him
medication.
listen.
here and I feel very
Oh, don't
responsible.
worry,
I'm
it's
just
fine.
telling you right now.
Oh,
Um,
Mia
Storm,
Bia.
you do know a lot of people
Let him
have
answer.
are on
all right.
blood pressure medicine. I'm 53 and been on it for probably
Well,
5 years
that's what I'm
now.
saying. My wife is 42. She's been on it for 5 years, and I'm wondering why they prescribed it to her at 37 years old. You know, she's got high blood pressure. She got off of it. Her blood pressure normalized. Now, I'm not saying, don't get off your
So
medication. What I'm
yeah.
wondering is why people have heart problems. It's typically heredity, it's dietary, it's the way you're treating your body. This can all be somewhat
Mm-hmm.
preventable, but not all of it. And I'm just wondering why we all just look to medicine and then look to other
Mm-hmm.
countries to supply it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now we're in a big, big problem.
Storm, would you like for me to answer?
Oh, yeah. What were you? I'm sorry. What were
Yeah.
you answering?
So at about 40, I had COVID and I had massive heart failure. And no, I'm not. I did not get stuck with any vaccine. So I am going to be on medication probably the rest of my life because I had massive heart failure. So it was none of those things, but just so you know.
I appreciate you sharing. It just scares me that, somebody who's like 60, 70, 80 years old, yeah, I could see that. Somebody who's 40, 50, it seems to be more common that younger people are getting more medicated. And that scares the
Storm,
hell out of me.
Storm, it's really none of your business. Stop judging people. Our problem is that our president is breaking
Rosalind, cut the
relationships.
crap.
Wait, no, be quiet for a second. Our
You just
problem,
interrupted
no,
me.
be quiet for a second. Let me finish my statement. Your our medical health is none of your business. Our problem is that our president can't get along with people so that we can't have whatever our health problems are. Maybe we have
No,
cancer.
no, you're not
No,
going to blame the
listen to me. Let me
you're not going
finish
to
my
blame the
You're
statement.
president for
both
Let me
Chad,
right.
it's none of your business.
no,
You're
Let
One
her
both
at a
Rosalind.
finish.
right.
time.
Let
You
her
gotta take
finish.
one
Rosalind,
at a
there are a
time.
lot of people that want a pill
Hey,
and they
wait
don't
a
want to
Hey,
change
hey,
their
second.
one mic.
lifestyle
Let
or
One,
go
let
Rosalind
into
her
finish,
work.
land.
and I'll respond to Rosalind. Rosalind, go ahead.
It's Rosalind.
our none of your business. The problem is that our country, should be able to get along with other countries and have trade relations so that we as American citizens have access to all the wonders of the world. And if America should be producing more wonders here, then fine. Let's produce more wonders here. But don't cut off our nose despite our face. So why don't you do it slowly instead of cutting us off? Suppose there's some really special cancer drug that's only being made in China right now that we need. Why not do it slowly and do it thoughtfully? But dumbass Trump has started a trade war with no and is lying about us being in discussions. So now us American citizens do not have access to the things that we need, or he's making it so expensive that we cannot get it, or that we have to sit here in fucking New York City and be concerned about things that 100 days ago we were not concerned about because we had access to the things that we needed.
Okay, so I don't know really what you just said because you lost about, I don't know, everybody in the room. Thank you for your making it none of my
You
business
didn't lose
about the
me.
health of American
Wait a minute,
people.
how did
Hang on.
You just
wait a minute,
say,
wait a
why
minute,
is it
wait
different?
a minute.
No,
Did
no,
other
no, no,
people
Hang
no.
on.
Let
understand
Storm
me? Did other
respond.
people understand me?
Hello, hello,
Wait, no. Did
hello.
other people understand me? No,
Yes,
I
Miss
I
no.
didn't
Did
Rosalind.
interrupt
other
you,
Yes, you
people
Rosalind.
did.
Miss
understand me?
Rosalind,
Going for the
don't
bait.
let them
Stop
I'm trying to
don't
trolling.
let them
figure out
bait
the
Other
you.
people
wonders of the
understood
world
me.
thing.
Don't let them bait you, baby. We
Other
got we
No,
people
got you.
Yes,
understood
here,
me.
Miss
herein
Rosalind, we
lies the
did.
issue.
Rosalind, close your
No,
mic.
I need to know.
Hello,
Did
herein
other
lies the
people
issues,
understand?
Rosalind. Let me tell you what my business is. My business is the concern and
I
health of
want
the
to talk to
American.
some.
Oh my God.
I want to know if
Ro-
Yes,
Wait,
Miss
Where's your
Rosalind,
one
we did
husband?
second.
hear you. We
Where's
did
I
your
need to
husband,
understand
know.
you.
Rosalind?
We
He's
did
One
just
understand
asking
second,
if
you.
you're
one
doing it
second,
quality
one
control.
second,
Mute her.
one second.
I need to
We're
know if
gonna
other
let
people.
Miss Rosalind, we're gonna let Storm respond, and then you can respond after. We will make room so you can respond after he does. Okay?
Did other people understand?
Yes, Miss
Yes, ma'am, we
Rosalind.
did. We did. But don't let them bait you, baby. This debate the news. You know how they do it. Go ahead, Stormy.
You didn't lose me. You didn't lose me.
Storm.
Go,
I got
Storm.
my GPS out.
Talking for the whole room, Storm.
Guys, hello? Stop muting me. So I would like to respond to Rosalind because she says that people's health are none of my business. Well, I would beg to differ on that. Number one, my kids' health is important, my wife's health, my friend's health. Everybody's health is important, and it is my business if I'm paying taxes to support. So I have insurance. Guess what? That insurance is making sure that I take care of myself. And if I don't take care of myself, my insurance premium goes up. Guess what, Rosalind? If you don't take care of yourself, guess what? My insurance premium goes up. You know why? Because insurance is a pool of money. And what happens is when you have about, I don't know, 150 to 200 million sick Americans, you can't afford health insurance. And so that's why it's my business. And I am on a mission to create healthiness instead of talk about how we want access to these drugs from other countries and it's Trump's fault. Trump's been in office for 102 days. It is not his fault why pharmaceutical companies or other countries have raised their prices over the last 30 years. So if you want to blame this on a guy who's actually doing something about health, it's called Make America Healthy Again, taking dyes, taking things out of our food that are poisonous and toxic, and not letting food companies put them in, you know what? Maybe we can be a little bit healthier. We don't have to prescribe heart medicine. We don't have to have Adderall to our kids and have all this ADHD diagnosed. That is a problem. And that is an epidemic much farther than our American president right now. That's my response.
Okay, that's a non sequitur.
Huh?
That
But
doesn't
like a
go
Uh-uh.
with
butcher.
Move out the way.
that. That
Go
doesn't
ahead, Miss
follow what
Ron.
that doesn't follow what I said because we're not talking about like health insurance. And yes, I agree. Your family is your concern. My family is my concern. Yeah, that I agree with that. And we weren't talking about health insurance, so yeah, that's fine.
Well, you said health is none of my business, and I'm in the health industry. I have athletes. I have people all over the world that I have been in contact with, and I've been an athlete myself. And I see this, and I'm mainly talking generally, Rosalind. I mainly talk this generally because I see America 30 years ago, and there were half the medications. We have invented medications. We have invented issues. We have invented disease, it seems like. Because you know what? Our food supply is extremely important. Our water supply is extremely important. Lisa can talk about that. And so that's where I come from. I come from a place of concern and I come from a place of seeing things. And I think you and I have both been around the block where we've seen things get deteriorated. And it's not our president of the United States' fault who got elected in 2024 and took office in 2025. This is a long stemming systemic issue. And you know what? Our kids aren't being taught how to eat correctly. They aren't exercising as much in elementary school and middle school and junior high and high school. You see it. They're on their phones. There's all kinds of things. So I feel bad for Jonathan because you know what? I know that's something he has to be on, and that's not his choice because he got sick with COVID and because he had heart failure. And you know what? Stress is another thing. My God, when in the hell did we go off the rails and have 80-hour work weeks? You know what? And now we have women who were stay at home and now they're running businesses and they're strong, independent women. That's great. But what is it costing us? And that's my point. It all is my business. I'm done.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the tariffs and we're talking what about the tariffs and how it's affecting us and we're talking about Trump. So that's what we're talking about.
Well, other than prescriptions, Rosalind, how's this going to affect you? These
Other
tariffs.
than prescriptions,
Right. I mean,
that's
stuff's going to fall off your shelves. What else are you buying that you're not going to be able to get?
well, the tariffs are going to affect everything. The prices on everything is going to go up. Everything that we buy, everything that we get from Amazon. So all my little fun little tchotchkes that I get, all the cheap summer clothes that I usually buy, I probably won't be buying. I won't be doing the little cheap, I know you guys are rich, but I usually buy a cheap summer wardrobe, because I just get new clothes every summer from like cheap places. I
I
probably
get all
won't do
my
that
stuff
this
from
summer.
Goodwill. I highly recommend it.
Well, I won't be doing I usually get new clothes for summer. I won't do that with the
So,
extra prices.
so you make your decisions on what you want to spend money on.
Yeah, because of Trump, I won't be doing it. I won't be getting new clothes this summer. Thanks, Trump.
But you may get some new roads in your state. Country may
Yeah,
get like
thanks.
some
Thanks,
shit
Biden.
paid off.
Thanks, Biden. Oh, thanks, Biden, for the infrastructure bill.
Did you
Thanks.
get stuff
Rosalind,
done?
Rosalind, you're saying you're not going to buy clothes because Trump is our president?
That's what I
Yeah,
heard,
because
Storm.
of tariffs. Yeah.
So how much have the tariffs affected clothes right now? Because you can go buy them right now. The tariffs aren't in effect.
No, I'm gonna save money because I don't know
There's
when.
always Goodwills, Jocelyn. You'll be
Well,
okay.
Hey,
this the thing though. Do y'all do realize that Nike and other shoe retailers wrote a letter requesting a tariff exemption? Rosalind isn't the only American that's concerned. You have businesses that are concerned, that are asking for exemptions from tariffs because of what they are anticipating. And they know what's in their backstock. They know it. So imagine being a business that knows what your inventory looks like and you still ask for an exemption. And you juxtapose that with an American that has no clue what that inventory looks like, but has to also anticipate their funding, their money, how they're going to use that. What are they going to do with it? Right? These decisions that he's making, it reminds me, let me tell you, I feel like I'm in a toxic relationship in the beginning where I'm being love bombed. Just a bunch of stuff happening in the beginning to try to get me, hooked in. But there's no results. And maybe y'all say it's too early for results, but I'm just like it's too much too fast with no plan. It's like this is what I want to happen, and I don't care about the consequences and repercussions. Rosalind and other people that are worried about it. Shoot, I had a heart attack at 42. I was an athlete. I'm a veteran. I'm not overweight. Haven't been, and I have a stent in my heart, a whole stent. Okay, not overweight. I don't know if y'all can see
And
me.
you're afraid you're not going to get your medication, right?
I mean, I'm a veteran. I'm always afraid every month that I'm not gonna get my medicine. But that's a whole nother.
Is that because you're afraid that insurance
That's
will
a
pay for it, or because it's not going to be available, chat? That's two different
that's
things.
a no, but that's a whole. Excuse me. That's a whole nother issue with the VA. But I bet a lot of Americans didn't even know that their medication comes from India
We
and
learned that
China.
through we learned that, chat. We learned that through COVID, honey. We didn't know antibiotics were made. That's when we learned a lot of shit through COVID.
As
Which, you know,
chat would say, that's a fact.
That is an absolute fact.
I
COVID
never
was
that's when we all found out the truth.
I never knew that
uh,
until
You,
COVID.
but you
And,
found that
and,
out through COVID.
and the chat's fun. Chat, you just, I mean, tears are coming to my eyes. I mean, you had a heart attack and you have to worry about your medication coming through. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Okay, but hold on. Medication because insurance won't pay for it because the veterans, the insurance she has or whatever, or that you're not going to get access to it in the country. Because we'll just have a GoFundMe account for Chad that she always gets her medication. Okay, so that solves that problem. Next. See, I'm a problem. I'm a problem solver,
I'm a
not
now
a
what
problem
girly too,
maker.
Cindy. I'm a now what girly.
You're now what?
A now what girly.
And
I
now
was
what?
trolled the other day because I was like, okay, now what? Are we
Okay,
gonna
So
sit
now.
here and complain, or are we gonna do something about it? We're gonna say now what?
Well, you
so
can't stock up on your medication because your medication will go bad at a certain point. Okay, so you can't
you can
stock
change
up on medication.
you can
But
change your
the
prescriptions to 6 months, which is what I did.
okay, but guess what, buddy? If it's not going to be available like you think, it doesn't matter if it says 6 months.
I understand, but I was able to get my 6 months up
Okay, you got
front.
your six
So
month
no, I'm
supply.
just saying that
But
you got those
Jonathan,
are things you
are
can
you
do.
really, really scared that you're not going to get your
I had
medication
to drive. I had to drive to New York City for one of my medications the other last month. So
because it
it
wasn't
wasn't
in
available.
stock?
It wasn't available. So I had to
Okay,
go to the nearest
well,
pharmacy, which was
but
60
but
miles
get
away.
all right, Jonathan. But get this one: when
But
people that had blood sugar problems that needed Ozempic, right, couldn't get it because Kardashian made it like it was a great weight loss drug, so she could get it in Marilyn Monroe's dress, and all of a sudden Ozempic's flying off the walls every which direction for weight loss,
right,
and there
but
was a
see, that's
shortage. But there's no shortage anymore on it. Where's Ozempic made?
but but Cindy, all I'm saying is these things are impacting day to day life. Like
But it isn't yet,
I would have
Jonathan.
rather, Cindy, I would have rather spent my 2 hours that I had to go commuting to the city actually working on my business because I had stuff to do that day. But I didn't. And that's okay. I got my medicine, I got what I needed. But it's even those little annoying things that we have to do.
But
It's
that isn't
obnoxious.
Trump's fault, guys. That's not your president's fault. No
I'm,
matter who's the president, stop. That's not the
okay.
problem. The problem is
It is his fault.
whoever's manufacturing that drug, there must have been a shortage on it. And then you found the pharmacist that had it. Come on, we always go fill medications and they'll say, oh, we're out of it. You're going to have to wait 24 hours for it. Or you can go to another CVS or you go to another Walgreens.
Right. But it
That's
wasn't
happened
a
to me many
24-hour
times
it wasn't a 24-hour thing though. It wasn't like it was going to be here the next day. I had enough to get that. So it was being imported and it was slow on the imports and whatever. I It's fine. I got my medicine, but if it continues down this path where people are going to have to continue doing this, that's not right. And it
Hey,
could be
hey, hey,
because
I
hey,
agree that's
Jonathan,
not right.
hold on. Let me say
But
something. Let me say something right here, Jonathan. Let me tell you
yes,
something, brother.
Ashton.
You know, no,
What?
listen, man, bro. I'm not against you. I'm trying to help you right here. Okay, so you guys think that I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a stupid or whatever you guys want to call me. I don't really care.
I
But
haven't said that. Once
yeah,
again,
yeah. I'm gonna tell
No,
you.
we've never
I'm
called you
gonna,
stupid. If they call
yeah,
you stupid, I'm gonna beat them up. So go ahead.
yeah. Tell you. There are I've worked in the pharmacy business for almost 15 to 16 years since I was probably I say 18 years old. That is my first job that I came to the United States I did. So there are some pharmacies that I work with. There are some pharmacists that if their medication is even available, the manufacturers have it. If they're not going to make that much money off of it, they're not going to order it. That doesn't mean the medication is not available. Some pharmacy you go, they don't have it. They don't tell you what it is behind the scenes. They don't tell you what it is. This is what I'm exposing them.
I
They just
understand
tell you
that,
it's
but
shortage. So that's what the problem. Sometimes a lot of pharmacy that I work at, and a lot of pharmacy does that, which means that's not good. That's not nice to do this thing to people. But a lot of pharmacy do that. A lot of the not big not do that. Because if they don't make money
So,
off of it, the insurance company's not paying for it. They're not paying them, and that's why they're miserable for them.
do you think, Sean, that Jonathan couldn't find medicine within 60 miles of where he lived? That no pharmacist within 60 miles? That he had to drive all the way into Manhattan to get it?
If it's a hot medication that's used all the time, I would disagree and say yes, somebody had it in closer range. Unless it's a very unique heart medication, because I don't know the medication. I know I'm starting a very unique one tomorrow. It's these shots. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm putting in my body. I'm terrified.
are you,
But
is it a blood thinner?
no, it's
No. Okay.
it's rat. It's oh god. I'll go down to my
I
refrigerator
don't. No,
right
I don't
there.
want to know what it. I don't need to know what
No,
it
I
is.
don't
I was
care.
just
I
wondering.
don't care. If I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say what it is, right?
And Jonathan, if you don't mind, you
And my
can
dad's on
understand.
blood thinners, and my mom, and not my mom, my dad, no problems getting blood thinners medication here.
Yeah, and then Jonathan, if you don't mind, I'm asking you this question. I'm trying to help you again. If you don't mind, you can back channel me. I would glad to help you out where you can find this medication because I know a lot of pharmacists in different
It's
states,
it's
and
right.
I
I got
work
it.
in
I
a
got my
major
6 months.
pharmacy.
I got my 6 months. I'm good right now.
Okay,
And
that's good.
it's the
But
dosage that, yeah, it's an awkward
but you
dosage
can
because
reach
I'm
out to
little.
me. You
As
can reach out to me, text me, and then I'll help you out.
And
thank you.
Jonathan, when you get down to your last, before you get to your 6 month, when you get to month number 5, see
I
about getting a replenishment
Yep.
when you get to
I
So
know.
month number
are we
5.
gonna run out of Repatha? Repatha?
And I'm not trying to tell you what to do, Jonathan. Just
No, no, I
suggestion.
get it, and I've got it under control. But I'm using it as a point that if it continues, if I can't get it, and it is coming from China. I did look. It is manufactured in China, but you know that it could get annoying for people
I
and
don't want medicine out of
impact their
China.
life.
They'll kill
I
us
know,
all.
but it's what keeps me
Where do
alive,
you?
so I got to
I'm
take it.
trying to see on my this new fucking stupid shot I gotta take that I'll probably grow 3 eyeballs and I won't be able to swallow. And I have a
I
tumor
heard it was
tank.
4 eyeballs. Actually, that's the minimum.
It's called Repatha. Can somebody tell me if it's made in China? Because if it is, I'm definitely not taking it. They'll kill us all.
Hey, Chad, can you go and get another insurance plan outside of the VA? I actually went and did that after being a vet and went and working in corporate America. I
You may
went,
have to tell me how to do that.
yeah, I went and got, I after the military, I went and got a job in corporate America and was, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Health Net, whatever. So
The
I
best.
just started going to that. And then when I started a company, I just kept the insurance and I really never used the VA because I need access to what I want immediately and not waiting. And so I find it to be far more valuable having private insurance
I
and just
love when I have
Yeah,
private
but a
insurance.
single plan of Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO is like 1,200 a month. Don't forget that too.
I got a PPO, but yeah, you're right. It's a
You
little
got a
more.
Jesus.
PPO, so that's even better than an
Yeah.
HMO.
Yeah, that's
So
why
yours
when I
is
talk
even more
about,
expensive.
yeah, like when I want to go to
You can
where I
go
want to
anywhere you
go,
want. You don't need a
I'm not waiting, I'm not
blue
going
doctor.
into anything at all. And so
Yeah,
I'm
you.
just saying, Chad, if you are able bodied and able to, and you and
for us, we generate enough income line by line to it's just a line item in my own comp plan. Just something to think about.
No, I'm gonna look into that. Thanks,
Oh, good.
Ty.
I just found out where my medicine is from. It's from Thousand Oaks, California. I don't have to worry about this heart medication.
Oh, that's out here
Yeah,
In Ventura County.
it's
Yeah,
called
Ty,
rapid.
Ty said he'll pick it up and hand deliver it to Boston.
That's right.
Listen, I just opened this thing up for the first time. This thing has 2 booklets to it. For Christ's sake, I'm not
Read
gonna.
the books.
I'm
Read
not
Oh,
reading it.
the.
I'm
she's
not
not
gonna
gonna
read
read
this.
the
If I
book.
read
No,
these side
no, that'll
effects,
cause panic
Please
attacks.
don't read the
No.
book. Mm. Go on YouTube or something, but don't read the books.
I'm not reading any of this.
Oh
So,
gosh.
so do y'all think that that Americans and even business owners, right, like Nike, do you think their concerns are valid,
I just
or
came in
do
the
you
room.
think
What are their
they're?
concerns?
Oh, so Nike, what's it? Oh, shoot,
Nike
there
was
it is.
having trouble prior to this, so let's make that clear. Look at Nike's story. Nike's been in trouble for a while now.
So
They can't get their shoes. Is that the deal?
no,
No,
so Nike. Let
the
me.
trend of Nike is
Oh,
you know. Listen, guys, come on, stop. You're chat. You like fashion. Let's call it what it is, okay? Right
I'm just
now,
reading the news, girl.
I get it, but Nike's been having problems. Look, we're all going to wear Nikes because we like to run or whatever you like to do. But the trend of like Nike Jordans, that's kind of getting a little passe. No, the dunks we're wearing, the high tops were coming down. It's a trend. Right now, you
Listen,
take who's making the trend is Adidas, New Balance.
It's all
They're
about
coming up.
Adidas, New
Puma.
Balance, and Under
Yep,
Armour.
yep.
Never,
Those are the
no,
three.
no Nikes at all.
Yeah,
Correct.
Well,
Nike
Under
is
Armour
But
is
that
one
has,
of
un,
but
the
it's a
companies
trend.
that's listed.
As was
We
Adidas.
Nike, Adidas, Skechers, Under Armour, um, Michael Kors, and Jimmy Choo, North
Michael
Face,
Kors is closing down left and
Vans,
right. Go ahead.
and their letter to the White House highlights that the footwear industry already faces substantial import duties up to 37.5% or more. The newly proposed tariffs exacerbate these costs, posing what the coalition describes as a threat to their business. They warn that the increased financial burden could lead to higher consumer prices, reduced spending, and significant job losses within the U.S. footwear sector at large. Adidas CEO Bjorn Gilden emphasized the potential impact, stating that the tariffs would raise costs across their entire U.S. product range due to the company's reliance on imports. Similarly, other brands have expressed concerns about absorbing unplanned costs on goods ordered months in advance, which are now arriving at U.S. ports under the new tariff regime.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely raise because all their things are made there. And I don't know about the ports on the East Coast, but out here in Washington, the Bay, and LA, um, berths are now empty. We're talking about 30% less of product coming in here because of what's happening with this administration. So it's a massive effect in the supply chain and in the cost of goods and services simply based on economics of supply and demand. Um, it's massively affecting a lot of things.
Yeah, I actually think, and I said this at the top of the room, Ty and Cindy and others, I think that it actually is a play for Nike to um, cushion their profit. Like there are a lot of things you can do before it affects the consumer. And one of those things is cutting down on your bonuses, okay? Or your profit before you even have to start laying people off. But what we're seeing is these big businesses that have taken entire industries to China and have been dependent on China and helping China's economy and their GDP just so they can increase their profits. And so shame on Nike. I'm sorry, shame on them for trying to keep profit because that's what I think it is. It is about because they were already I think was it Jonathan and others have said for 18 months their stocks have taken a hit. And so they're like, "Oh, we can't absorb any more costs. It's really going to eat into our profits. So we are going to lead this effort to get these other shoe manufacturers and retailers to go to the president so that we can save our profit. But you, of course, you want to throw the American consumer in there. Of course, you want to say that you're going to lay off jobs or lay off people so that you can keep profit. No, your profit margin may be less. I'm
I don't think
sorry.
I don't think this is a shoe company problem. This is an administration problem because it's not just shoes. It's many other sectors. It's not just shoes. So and that's trying to keep a profit margin. It's yeah, the profit margin wants to be kept in order to have human beings still buying their stock to keep it rallied so high. Yeah, but this is beyond just the public markets. This is a supply chain nightmare, and a lot of things are only going to get worse in many sectors.
I would agree with you on that one. I'm going to give that to you.
Let me ask you,
Thousand
Cindy,
percent.
when you're getting your
I'm
shoe,
not listen, let me make something very clear. I am not happy about this either. Remember, I'm a consumer that buys a lot of products to build with. I'm very unhappy about this. So don't think I'm a fan of this
my
by no
question
No,
is,
means. But
where
I
do
do
you,
understand the long run. But I'm not here for the marathon. I'm here for the sprint right now, right? Like everybody else.
so when you're buying your windows and your flooring in mass
Everything,
and your
everything,
doors and your
everything.
roofing in mass and it's coming
Yep,
from other places and you can't get it and yet you have orders on, let's say, let's just write numbers. You got 10 houses on order, let's
yep,
say $20 million each, so that's $200 million,
yep.
and I'm just making this up, I don't
Go
know,
ahead.
and the cost of this $20 million house, the cost all in labor costs might be $2 million for cost, and you at
Dude, if
tw-
I had that profit margin,
I'm just making it up.
I'd be spreading the wealth on here right now. But go
I'm just
ahead.
making it up. And at 2023, 2024, excuse me, when was the pandemic? In 2020, 2021, something like that?
Right.
20. So
That's
let's
when
say
everything went sky high. Go
so
ahead.
let's say in 2017, 2018, let's use that.
Great,
And
great, great numbers. Go ahead.
okay, and you knew what your fixed costs were going to be. Labor is the only thing that would vary, but your fixed costs, well, you know, my roof, my floors, my
Yep.
windows,
Uh-huh.
it's going to cost this. Now all of a sudden, you can't get it, or it costs you two or three or four times much more
Ty,
than it
we
is.
did. Exactly. But that happened for 3 years plus. That our numbers were going up daily, weekly, hourly.
So your
Like it was
windows, your
insane.
floors, your tile, your ceiling,
Everything was going up weekly,
concrete, everything.
weekly. Even
So,
concrete. We
so
got
when you start, so
four.
you start a job for a $20 million house, and you already said
Yes.
I'm going to have at least
Yes.
a
Yes.
thirty
So
percent margin
just
conservatively,
hear me out.
and now
Every,
now you got a 10% margin. What the hell is going on here?
correct. And if you pre-sell, like a lot of our product pre-sells here, right? Because of the name, yeah, my profit margin went way down through COVID. Why? Because we had to absorb these prices. Plus, we had already gone to purchase and sale on these products, right? So if I pre-sold your house for a certain number, we had nothing in our contracts that could get us out because who the hell knew what COVID was, right? So I still had to deliver, even though the price had increased by 40% on those build outs.
I have a
Not
question on your
10.
I have a question on your materials, and I'm segueing this. Southwest Airlines. The reason why it was so popular for so long is because it dealt with contracts, oil contracts of supplying its fuel for years in advance by locking in whatever those prices were going to be when it got it. Is
Yeah.
it the same way in home
No,
building products where you can lock
no,
in things for
no,
multiple years up front by
no,
paying like
never,
I'm going to
never,
buy 5,000 windows
never,
price. Oh, okay.
never. You could lock in for the year, right? So if there's any price increases, like the normal price increases that they do, I would go in there and always negotiate my next year out, right?
So in
But
January
not
you're
everybody
negotiating
can
to
do that, Ty. Not everybody can do that because they're not
oh
buying enough product, right? So you have to be at a certain level to be able to go in there and say, okay, here's how this is going down. I will keep buying product from you, but I want to guarantee for the next 12 months the prices are going to stay where they are, right? But that's it. Now we do a takeoff. it'll say on the bottom of every takeoff, this is good for 7 to 14 days. That's it.
Is a takeoff when you provide when you get
So
a
when I do an estimate, right? I estimate everything we do at C Stumpo. When I estimate, and then when I say I'll estimate every piece of lumber, everything, because you're not going to get anything by me. The vendors can't get shit by me, right? Then it goes out to the vendor. I will get back, and I'll be usually within literally 0.0% of my takeoff. Like I'm good on my takeoffs. So now at the bottom, we'll say your number is fixed for 7 to 12 or 14 days. Right now, that's it. If you don't buy in that 7 to 14 days and numbers move, you are still let's say the 15th day. I make the decision. Okay, we need it now. The numbers went up. But through COVID, didn't even get 7 days. That's it. Like literally, it was just going up daily. Look at the stock market. Wood is a commodity. You'll see what I'm talking about. Plastic is a commodity. All of it is. So the numbers were going ridiculous, but they have not come down one penny. So if they're going to go up, what lumber did, lumber went from 1,800 a lineal foot to like it's running about five something right now. Prior
so
to COVID,
it came down 10
305,
came down ten
305.
dollars
What's that?
came down, it was $15, it came down to
No,
$10.
no, it came down 18. It went up. Okay, lumber was 305, bounced between 305 and 350 a lineal foot. At the height, I was paying 1,800 a lineal foot. Do that times 305 to 355. Do you see the difference? Now you
Yeah,
have a frame.
yeah.
Okay. So I had to absorb it because everything that we typically build here, I don't look to sell them pre-construction, but the sign goes up, boom, 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 buyers come, it's done, right? So it is what it is. Now in my contracts, they're very different on pre-construction. Meaning if numbers go up at this number at a certain level, the consumer has to eat it, not me. But our contracts are different now. So the end user is taking the risk with me. I'm locking you in a number, and I thank God still haven't had to go up on that number or have to trigger that part of my contract into effect. But I can't build at the numbers I was building on prior to COVID. It's just impossible. It
Your bu-
drives
your
me
your business
crazy.
is not transitory. Here in California, we've had to move all of our production to other states.
Yeah,
We're
but
about to go
I,
overseas.
I got I got I got builders all over the country, hon. We network all over the country, all over the country. The bigger ultra high end builders all over the country, we know each other, and
I,
we literally network with each other, right? Just to see, hey, Cindy, what are you paying for Marvin over there? What are you paying for Pella? What are you guys paying in Utah? What are you paying in Cali? What are you paying down in Florida? The numbers are the same. Because if the numbers were cheaper, right, I would order them out of Utah. I would order them out of Cali. I would order them out of the middle of the country somewhere, right? But they're not. Our
I
numbers are the same.
I was talking about our business as far as um, TV production, the cost here, and the level and the lack of tax credits, or here we all go to other states where there are far better
Less.
tax
Well,
incentives,
Massachusetts gave that,
and
what, 15 years ago?
and the costs are much cheaper, much better. I get a 30% tax credit.
But that's not federal, that's state.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So that what everybody in the room has to understand is that when Mass implemented, the mayor in Boston implemented a massive tax cut to bring movies here. That's when they all started coming to Boston, right? A lot of movies were made in Boston. But again, if a tax cut is better in, Arizona, you guys are going to run to Arizona. Remember the Teamsters handle all that, right? Even in Cali, right? You guys got to answer to the Teamsters.
Yes. If it is a union TV show, the state of Georgia is not a right. I think, what do they call it? Right to work or not right to work? You don't have to hire a union. You don't have to hire
Because it's
Teamsters.
not it's because it's not a strong union state. But if you come to Massachusetts and you're just putting on a play, you have to go through the Teamsters. It doesn't matter what you're doing here. Any form of entertainment, plays, movies, whatever, series, Doesn't matter. You're gonna have to pay. You have to have the Teamsters out
It's
there.
like that in New York also.
Correct. And the Teamsters, it's not cheap, right? But
Not at all.
not at
Not
all. I
I
get it.
yeah. I mean,
I was
they're for those who don't know what the Teamsters are. The Teamsters the Teamsters are more more than just a driving union, just a unions that have certain fixed contracts as to how much money they will they must make per job per hour, and they have so
Ty,
many
you got to
people.
admit, some of it's kind of crazy, right? One guy
Some of
takes,
it, a lot of it is
okay, a
crazy.
lot of it is.
A
One
lot of it is
guy,
crazy. You're
these
being
guys
nice.
take it, the truck comes in to this point, and then more guys got to come in and take it to that point, and then then the unloading guys got to be there. I mean,
You know
it's
the
crazy
unloading
money.
guys and the guys who unloaded and the guys who set it up and the guys who drive the truck are three different groups of people. For those who
Thousand
don't know,
percent. I
that's
was union for 15 years. I get it. Trust me.
I call it a hustle.
It's the biggest scam, isn't it? But it is what it is. People, they want to be protected by the union. So even, Florida's got union, but it's a very weak union. But New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Chicago, Philly, I mean, those are big union states.
Do you know New Jersey has passed a higher tax credit situation for productions in New Jersey than in New York? And so many people, Netflix just built a big, huge studio in New Jersey because the tax incentives are far better than the state of New York, and they're right next to each other. So people from New York, New Jersey, Newark to Manhattan is really a train ride.
We're
But
about to
Ty,
do a reset, guys. Y'all go ahead and close it out, and I'll do a reset.
but real fast, Ty, if you remember, all the soap operas were at one time taped in New York. Then they came out to LA because LA gave them a better deal than New York did. All the major, whatever you grew up watching, General Hospital, All My Children, One Life to Live, those were all taped in New York City. And then, boom, they all went to Los Angeles, right? Why? Because it was cheaper at that point. But times have changed. So you got to find the states that are better. All I'm saying is, I don't like this either. There's nothing about any of this that I like either. So and I'm saying, I think that Trump's going to walk a lot of this back somehow, some way. But if you heard this, let me ask you this question. If you heard that all your taxes were going to go down to 50%, right? Because the tariffs were going to cover what these states need to run off their states and federal, would you be happy that your taxes were cut in half? I know I would be, but somebody else has to eat that. It just is what it is. But if that doesn't happen and our taxes don't come down, see, that was the worst play that he did. He should have lowered taxes first, dealt with the migrant problem at the same time, waited till midterms, and then went after certain countries on tariffs, not the whole goddamn country. That was a very, very stupid move, but it was done. Now he's going to have to walk it back. But anybody in this room that's done business has walked certain things back, and you've changed and pivoted in your business because you have to. You think something's going to go one way, and okay, well, that didn't work. Let me walk that back and let's change it up to going this way again.
Absolutely right. We can close it out. And by the way, the cost of capital right now is ridiculously through the roof for even
Thousand
for businesses.
percent.
It's just I'm like, wait, what?
Correct.
It's
So,
just
Ty, if you don't lower
I can go
interest
I
rates,
go get $100 million a line of credit and they're asking all kind of I'm like, wait, I went and got three before. What are you doing here? What's going on here? It's crazy.
well, that's two reasons. And I say this in my business rooms. The banker is never your friend, right?
They're never your friend.
So, but they are. You go golfing with them, you go have drinks with
Mm-mm.
them, right? You do things, and all of a sudden, the guy that's been taking care of you for all these years, all of a sudden, like, hey, Ty, listen, we tightened our belts up here. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. And you're like, what the fuck? We've been doing business for 15 years. Now you
So
need all
far
this
plus
shit.
so far plus 5 basis points. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
I
Thank
say
y'all
that.
for joining Debate the News. Thank y'all for joining us today. We have completed the first half of the show. Thank y'all so much again for joining us. We have also been streaming on X. And for those of you that don't know, I don't know what rock you've been under, but we are recording a live, yeah, I said live, podcast. Okay, this is DTN. Y'all know how we do it. So make sure that you are not only downloading the episodes, that you're leaving reviews, that you are also liking us as well. Also, Debate the News, if you don't know, is on chat. I'm sorry, on IG. I'm sorry, allergies. Debate the News is on IG as well as X. I don't know if y'all know that, and so is Chatter, right? So go on over to IG and Chatter, and X, and make sure you give us a follow there. And also, if you are not, if you're viewing or listening to this episode, on your podcast, your preferred podcast platform, you can also join us live on Chatter. You can go into your app store, download Chatter Social, and download the app, and then you can get an exclusive invite. Right? We are preparing for V2, which will be a game changer. So make sure that you come on over to Chatter and that you are in the place, the butts in the seat, before V2, because V2 will be pandemonium. Guys, the first half of the show we were talking about Nike and tariffs. But the second half, guys, we're gonna get into another showdown based on the Trump decision over in Mexico. But before we do, I believe that Andrew has a dateline for us. And Andrew, are you there?
I am here.
All right, sunshine,
All
you
right.
got it.
All right. Let me see. So, kind of threw this together last minute, but this is what I got. Basically, so I don't know if y'all saw this, but Trump is going to throw a $90 million military parade, all right, to celebrate the Army's 250-year anniversary. It also happens to be his birthday. So, a lot of people are bitching about it. When TC was doing his interview today with the protesters, which was fire. If you missed it, I mean, that's why you got to get on some of these DTN lounges during the day. One of the ladies was complaining that he was doing that and was trying to say, "Oh, do you know how many homeless people I could help or whatever?" Whatever. Shut up with that. You know how I think California spent like what was it, $4 billion to solve homelessness, and all the money just poof and vanished. Like, shut up about 90 million. You know, it's a celebration for our country, and I'm glad it's time to whip our balls out and put them on the table. That happens right as the Sinaloa cartel is. I haven't seen this anywhere in the mainstream media, but it's all over X, and people are talking about it. Apparently, this really happened. The Sinaloa cartel sent the Trump administration some type of nefarious warning about border security and like how they've really got some kind of flex that they can pull. Some people are wondering if that's just like propaganda to get more funding for the wall, but I don't think that's it because Trump could do that without having to cap. So um, I know that he did reach out to the Mexican president and say, "Hey, you know, we could really easily fly some drones in there and fuck them up." But apparently, Mexico's, has returned back and said, "No, don't do that. We want to maintain our sovereignty. We don't need your help." Blah blah blah. Which totally get that, but they need to handle it because otherwise, I was feeling some rogue shit might be going down. But anyway, I saw that Trump's also going to remove the tax exempt status at Harvard. This is just as he signed the executive order to remove the funding from National Propaganda Radio and PBS. It's totally fine. Every other radio station and TV channel has to do their own funding and get commercials. I'm sure they can do it too. They don't need taxpayer money. These services aren't going to go anywhere. Y'all can still get your government run brainwashing media. Don't worry about it, right? We're just not going to pay for it with our tax money. All right. I saw also signed an executive order to cut funding from sanctuary cities. So I'm all for it. And you know what? For those of you complaining that it's going to be an autocratic rule, and all this stuff, you know what? I hope all of this goes to the Supreme Court and they rule on this, uh, because as I see it, everything he's doing is within his scope and within the powers of the Constitution. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm saying this as an objective libertarian. There's some things I think could be on the line, but I don't think that the Supreme Court would pull any of it back. So, man. Oh, another thing. Oh, hey, chat, you look beautiful, by the way. Sorry. So I also saw that the market had 9 days in a row of gains. And apparently that hasn't happened but 31 times in the last 100 years. Think about that. So, as much talk as there is, I think the market's finally figured out, okay, these tariffs are really just a negotiating proposition. It's not really going to happen. I think the market's adjusting. People are starting to figure this out. And I think America is really about to hit this golden age that we've been talking about. So I'm really excited about that. The rising tide is going to raise all ships. I know all the naysayers are out there, but um, y'all don't lose heart. Uh, y'all are really going to be pleasantly surprised at how well everything works out. And just use this, the next 1,349 days, something like that, as a masterclass in conservatism when it comes to fiscal policy. I hope that we can all look at this objectively, be able to talk about it, because we did this the first term, then we took a break with dumbass Bidenomics, and now we're returning back to the fundamentals. You guys will be able to see clear, beneficial results, especially because he's flipping everything on its head. So I think it's nothing but positive, although a bit chaotic, not exactly how I would do it. But yeah, let's go, America.
I don't have a soundboard, so that's that's what we're doing. Okay, thank you, Andrew, for that. Thank you for doing that at the last minute. I appreciate you there, my friend. Change your name. Okay. So there's that. Thank you again. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit earlier, Andrew, that we have recouped what we lost in the markets. I think it was a week and a half ago or so. So I mean, that's promising, right? Someone else want to chime in? Oh, I'm about to lose my juice on my phone. All right, so the second half of the show, we are going to talk about Mexico. Okay. Apparently, sorry. Mexico has firmly rejected President Donald Trump. Trying to read and do this at the same time. Okay. Mexico has firmly rejected not former, President Donald Trump's proposal to deploy U.S. troops to its side of the border, calling it a violation of national sovereignty and a threat to regional cooperation. The rebuke follows reports that Trump, in private talks, floated the idea as part of his hardline immigration strategy. And so, if you all don't know, is that Trump proposed that that we send troops on Mexico's side of the border, and the Mexican president and Mexican officials said no gracias. They said no bueno. They said no. Mariana, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Um, but they said no. Okay, that's in Spanish and English. Okay, no, that's what they said. And they don't want U.S. troops. They don't want Marines and soldiers on their side of the border. They actually would love for us to stay on our side, like they got this. And they say that national sovereignty is not up for negotiation. Um, and and so I don't know, like we're if you were Mexico, how would you feel, right? If that were happening to you, if the American president is like, "Hey, we'll go ahead and put some troops on your side of the border." I would be, I would be threatened. I would feel that you may have the best of intentions, but why would you need to put your troops at the border when you've already said that we are terrorists? You said that we are rapists, and then you want to put your troops on the other side of the border? I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. I feel like it is giving there's a takeover spirit. I don't know. But what do you all think about this proposal that Trump has proposed to the Mexican president? What do y'all think about it? Floor is open.
I mean, if Mexico can't handle their business and they don't want to, they're not willing to, because they're corrupt, this could be a problem. I think they should take us up on it if they can't handle it. They have a freaking military, but I mean, they are our neighbor. We shouldn't be, I don't want to be meddling in other people's affairs, but you know, I mean, they would have to do the invite. I don't know. I just don't see them doing shit. So it makes me feel like they're just bought off.
I think it's hilarious that we're talking out of both sides of our mouth with this thing because we want El Salvador. We can't touch El Salvador's sovereignty and possibly ask to get the prisoner back, but we can go in and put troops in in Mexico. Come
No,
on.
nobody. No, dude. I don't
No,
think you understand what the
no,
authority
I
is
do
about.
understand. It's sovereignty. The
All right, I want to
country
hear you
is
explain it. How is it? Explain it to me.
how is putting troops in Mexico violating their sovereignty and
No, no.
leading towards
If they listen, I'm talking about the narco state part of it that are controlled by the
who's
cartels. If
okay.
Mexico asked us to come in and wipe those MFers out,
Mhm.
if their government asked us to do it, we wouldn't do it on our own. If their government said, "Yes, please come in here and do it," that is not violating their sovereignty.
How's the war on drugs going here? Like before, can we get it under control here before we go into Mexico? But also,
I don't think you can have a war on drugs.
oh, because
It will
that's what they
fail.
seem to be saying. Oh, it is. I know it's failing,
Yeah,
but
it doesn't work. Prohibition doesn't work.
okay. Except prohibition is. I'm never mind. I'm not going to argue that point because